Cool. And let me hydrate myself. What is in here?
Just water. Living water.
That actually tastes different.
Really?
Yeah, because I haven't had this in a while.
Does it taste good?
It tastes like clear, soft. It's soft.
That's
I think
a good thing.
soft is the best description I can put to it.
Yeah, we just got our machine deep cleaned, so the water is nice and fresh.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Number 6, The Mind of Charlie Herrera. And the main thing, like one of the reasons I reached out is because you are part of a community. And one of the things I really want to do is talk to people from our community here in LA, because it's changed a lot. A lot has changed. I remember when like the whole Occupy movement happened. Like I remember feeling lonely. I've mentioned this before in like previous podcasts. Like I felt alone. Like where are the like-minded people? And back then it was more like aggression, more like the financial. It's not fair. We're like people are realizing like government is kind of messed up. And I remember thinking like, how do we put political and like spirituality together, and then eventually like more of a spiritual or even more like a conscious, like maybe not spiritual, maybe like a conscious movement started happening where people started doing more, I guess, conscious stuff, right? The way they eat, the way they think, the way they move, yoga, a bunch of stuff. And like in your case, sound healing. And so that's why I reached out. I was like, hey, come through, let's talk. I want to hear about your journey. Like I remember seeing, first of all, your hair.
It's
Right?
big. It's bright.
It's big, it's bright. Like you don't have it that way now, but I definitely remember seeing that. At where was it? I don't know. I don't think it was community healing. I think it was
No, we met before community healing started. I think we met at an event. Probably like a California consciousness event or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did you gravitate towards that?
So it was interesting how I found myself a part of that beautiful movement. It was definitely just like a serendipitous experience. I was practicing Kundalini yoga in downtown Santa Ana.
Okay.
And are you familiar with Meeting of the Minds?
Yes. Yeah.
So Meeting of the Minds had just started, and I really wanted to go to a Meeting of the Minds event. So I asked like my best friend at the time to take me. I was like, take me to this Meeting of the Minds event. I know you're going to go. Like, I want to be there. And he was like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if that's your vibe. Like, I don't think you would really like mesh with the crowd that's being called in there. But I have this group of friends that I've been getting together with, and I think that you would love them. I'm like, okay, let's go. So I go and I hang out. I go to who became some of my closest friends still to this day. And we just all started hanging out. It was just a group of people that literally all magnetized each other through Instagram. They were just all Instagram, quote unquote, influencers. They just talked about like spiritual awakenings and the whole like fight the government, all that, all that realm.
Yeah, the stuff I was looking for.
Yeah, and it was cool. Like, it was cool. The fight the government thing. I remember I went to a March Against Monsanto experience.
Ooh, I remember those.
And I was like, in LA, which I'm from Orange County, so the energy is just, it's similar but just different. And I went to this event and it was cool, but I was like, this is not for me. Like the rage in the space was like, I feel like it's necessary, that uproar, like everyone has to play their role. And I was just like, this is not my role. What is the solution? Like, what do we do after this? What do we do after we stop Monsanto? Like, then what? And so fast forward, I'm like practicing Kundalini yoga. I see that event. And then my friend takes me to meet this beautiful group of people. And we just all started hanging out together. Like every weekend, we would just have these like healing circles. And I was pretty young. I was like 17 years old. And my friends that I grew up with, they were partying when we got together on the weekends,
Right.
drinking, just like talking crap on whoever's not in the room. Like, definitely not the vibe that we were on. And so we're hanging out, and maybe I wanna say, like, a month, 2 months goes by of us just, like, really, really deepening our bonds together and just cultivating, like, so much love for one another. And one day we're all just hanging out, and our friend just kinda, like, plants the seed, and he's like, "Hey, we should share this, like, we should open up this space, like, what we're cultivating here in this room, let's expand it." And we were like, "Okay, what does that look like?" And so we literally posted a flyer on Instagram that we were all gonna be meeting up in a park and have, like, yoga. It started so teeny. We had, like, a yoga class, a few, like, crystal vendors, and I remember our friend just had, like, a cooler with a bunch of snacks in it,
Mhm.
and that was the first California Consciousness event is what we called it. And then we
Mm.
just kept going, and every event just got bigger and bigger. We realized at our first event that we needed to have food for people to eat
Right.
because everyone was, like, eating all our friends, like, little cooler of snacks, and it just expanded from there, and we just started to magnetize, like, what I call our soul family.
And you were 17 at the
I
time?
was 17, yeah,
Wow.
I was 17. Yeah, and yeah, and from there, it just kept growing, and it kept expanding, and I just feel like we all found, like, our role in in the movement and how to cultivate those spaces for people, like you said, that felt alone. Because there's so many people that see the way the quote, unquote, "matrix" is, and they're just like, "This is not it." And then they just feel alone, and the people that are around them, like, they don't know. They're like, "What do you mean this is not it? This is
Right.
what we do every day. This is our life." So being able to, like, have a space where there's more people that are just questioning, "No, like, this doesn't feel right. What can we do?" And it just
Questioning, like, the status quo.
yeah, just questioning everything, like, question everything. But yeah, definitely the status quo. And
Didn't you post that about that today?
yeah,
Or
because
was
Lily
it
came my daughter came up to me with the letter Q. She just
Mhm.
walked up to me and handed me the letter Q, and I was like, "Yes, question everything."
She knows what's up
She knows
already.
what's up, yeah, she chose the right family, that's for sure.
That's funny. So you guys started started not even organizing, just gathering
Mhm.
at the
Yeah,
park in Long
yeah.
Beach.
Yeah, we started gathering, and then we started organizing after that because we realized, like, "Okay, we need a little bit of structure." It started growing, more people started coming. We started realizing that we knew so many people that had just, like, golden nuggets to share, like, so much wisdom and life
Mm.
experience and just, like, codes, like, life hacks. And so we started creating the platform for them to share and other people to receive that information.
Yeah, like, what kinda stuff? Like, I know yoga you mentioned yoga, but
Yeah, so we had yoga, sound healing. We would do people would come and do talks on all kinds of different things, like just kind of biohacking type of things, um, like food, like what's in our food, ideal food consumption, which is like such a iffy topic because
it's a big
everyone's
topic.
especially right now, I'm like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna get into that, but just sharing those resources, right? And sharing that knowledge and personal experience, like, not just sharing a yoga class, but sharing, like, the the philosophy, the roots of yoga and meditation and the power of positive thinking and the power of shadow work, like, just all different kinds of things,
I
people
rem
would just come out and share.
For sure, I remember the first time I heard about shadow work. I don't remember who it was, but they're like, "Yeah, I'm doing some shadow work," and I was like, what is this shadow work
Yeah.
about?" But, like, if it wasn't for communities like this, like, there wouldn't be that awareness that there is a subconscious part of the mind, and that's where the
Mhm.
shadow lies, and maybe traumas and old memories that maybe are holding you back, or maybe you're repeating something because it's in the shadow, and you
Mhm.
wanna bring light into it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
gatherings like this and communities like this have helped a lot of people that are, like, I guess maybe seeking a different lifestyle or a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of do remember lectures. You're right, all types of lectures,
Mhm.
like
There's a lot, yeah.
yeah, mind, body, spirit, food, like
Mhm.
everything to do with awareness and how to, I don't know, maybe live a more peaceful life, or maybe how to live a more balanced life,
Yeah.
or healing.
Yeah, I like to
Like
call it life optimization because 'cause you're
life.
just, like, up
Yeah,
leveling, and that could be different for everyone, like, whatever makes you the most happy, and then being able to have a support system around you that where you can go to ask questions, or you can go to just hear, like, "Yeah, that works, good job, keep going," or whatever, like,
yeah.
whatever you need, just being able to have a group of people that are really tapped into unconditional love and
Hmm.
can share that with you and feel comfortable and safe, like, sharing their love and receiving your love. That
You're
was, like, I
absolutely
feel
right.
like the main goal, the main intention was just to cultivate, like, true love in a space.
And we're talking about also like um, back in the day, Instagram, where the algorithms were different and the outreach was different. Like
Mhm.
gaining followers was like it was like from 0 to 100 really quick, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, yeah. I mean, the flyers were cool. You know, you look at the flyers, you're like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then the shirts were pretty cool too. It's like, wait, I kind of want to figure this out. I kind of want to join this. And then also like the circles, you would see like pictures of
Yeah.
big circles of people kind of just standing there. But like if you're there experiencing it, you're like you feel what's happening. And yeah, it's
Mhm.
a community of like not just knowledge, but also like love and being around like-minded people. That
Mhm.
does something, you know. And then obviously the food, sharing food also does something. So
Yeah, the food was bomb. Oh my goodness, I miss the food. Sometimes I wanna just have events just to have all of those amazing food vendors come out in one place.
well, yes. And so before that, like Kundalini, you were 17 practicing Kundalini?
I was mm, I was 15 when I started practicing
How'd
Kundalini
you
yoga.
how'd you find that? How'd you come
I
across
saw
that?
I saw a video of my teacher online,
Okay.
and so I was doing yoga and meditation on
Mhm.
my own. Um, my awakening started through, like, waking up to food and like, government conspiracies. I was super into that, and, like, I was just like, "Why are they lying to us?" I was just this little kid, I was literally 13 years old, like, watching dolphin documentaries that turned into watching government conspiracy
Right.
documentaries, and I woke up to food, and then I started doing yoga and meditation because it was just like I was just listening, I can't even explain it. It's not like there was one specific
Mhm.
crazy life-changing moment that happened, then I was like, "Oh," like, it was just who I was, and then I'm only 25, so I grew up with the internet. So I just
Right.
started I was in the age of information, so I just started coming in contact with this information, then I heard about yoga and meditation, so I just started doing meditation on my own in my room. I remember, like, trying to do the I ordered, like, crystals online. It was probably my first online shopping purchase, honestly, was, like, a 7 chakra set of, like, teeny little crystals, and I'm, like, doing my meditation with my crystals, and, like, I remember doing, like, a Merkaba meditation in my room and,
Mm,
like, trying to activate my light body and, like,
for
really not
sure.
knowing, like, what I was doing, but
Mhm.
just trying it, and then, yeah, I, like, was with one of my friends. It was actually a new friend. It was only, like, our 2nd time ever hanging out, and I see this video, and I'm like, "This is so cool. I wanna go here. It's in Santa Ana." It's just, like, 15 minutes from my house. And she's like, "Oh my god, I've been there. It was kinda weird. They, like, give you tea and cookies." And I was like, "That sounds amazing." And she's like, "I can take you there, like, I know where it is." And so we literally went to the next it was, like, I think 2 days later, we went to
Mhm.
class, and I just, like, fell in love. I was the youngest person there for sure, um, but it was so cool, like, it was so familiar on a cellular level, like, on a deep level. It was just like, I grew up going to church, and I grew up, like, really feeling the presence of the Holy Spirit and just, like, creation energy in a space, but I stopped going to church at one point just 'cause whatever, like, I just grew up and didn't wanna go anymore.
Right.
Um, and being in that space, it was so way better than church, and I could just feel, like, the the spirit of just, like, creation in the room, and then my teacher, like, you've gone to Guru Ram Dass's classes,
Oh yeah.
right? He's just like this little old, like, white hippie, wizardy character, and I was just like, "Wow," like, it just felt so right, and the people there, and then, like, we finished yoga, and I'm just so lit off yoga, like, wow, like, it was, like, 2.5, 3 hours of just, like, doing mantras for my first time, and like, just the mudras we were doing, everything was just so new, but so familiar, and I just felt so good, and then all of a sudden, they're like, "There's gonna be soup now and snacks," and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, they're about to feed us because like, if you go to a yoga studio, you're, like, you gotta be there right on time,
Right.
and they end, like, your 10 minutes of asana, and then you're just, like, out so that they can start the next yoga
Yeah.
class
Yeah.
pretty
Get out
much, or
the
clean
next.
it, whatever,
Hmm.
and that was just not it at all, and there's, like, people that were just in the class, like, now they're in the kitchen serving food and, like, setting up a tablecloth on the floor. I was just like, "Wow, what is this?" It was just so amazing, and I just,
Yeah.
like, immediately fell in love, and the people that I met there were just, like, so beautiful, so kind, and so welcoming, and it was just so different than anything I had experienced before, and I was like, "Oh, like, this is it, like, I'm gonna come back," and I literally started going. They teach 3 days a week, and I literally started going every single day. Every day they had a class, I was there, and it was
Yeah.
just like and I just met some of, like, my closest friends there.
There's something about community and also acts of service.
Mhm.
And then just, I mean, yeah, soup after yoga class and
Yeah,
tea.
and yogi
Yeah.
tea, and then the cookies, like, oh, so good.
And the conversations,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? Like after a yoga class and sharing some meals, you're going to have some pretty awesome conversations
Mhm.
with like minded people.
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing, and I just felt, like, so seen and so celebrated, like, no one was, like gave me that energy of, like, "Oh, you're being too much." Everyone was like, "Yes, shine brighter, like, we love this," and that felt super good to be, like to say things and, like, share my thoughts and my feelings and not be questioned,
Yeah.
like, in a way where it's like, "Why are you saying this?" But to be questioned in a way where it's like, "Let's go deeper." Like,
Right.
"What else do you feel?" And it's just like it's like you don't find like, I feel like now, this is 10 years later, like, maybe it's easier to find that, or maybe even for some people, it's still not easy to find, but I feel like in my world, that's more common now. But
And
back
you're talking
then
about like family questioning you or friends?
Like,
And friends. Everybody. Yeah,
everyone.
you're right.
Yeah, my
Everybody. Yeah.
family, my friends, like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was definitely, like, a weird kid,
Right. According to them.
according to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
and so I feel like I'm very blessed because I was very supported through, like, the people closest to me, like, my mom, like, never made me feel weird. My mom was like, "You're fucking cool." Like, my mom made me feel like I was the coolest person
Oh,
on
that's
the
sweet.
planet. Yeah, but other people, like my cousins, my sisters, my friends, they were
Yeah.
just like 'cause it's just not the status quo, like you were saying, like, questioning that, and so people were like, "What? Like,
What is she
why are you
doing?
talking about this? Why are you meditating?
What is she
Like, what are
eating?
you're just not gonna talk? You're gonna sit down and breathe, that's it?
What's wrong with you?
You're gonna think about the color green for your heart? Like, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you wanna do it
Right.
with
Right.
me?"
Right.
So, it's just cool to be in a space where they're like, "Yeah."
Encouraging.
Mhm, encouraging it and teaching me more.
Mhm.
I wasn't the only one in the room that knew about it, and I actually, like, didn't know anything there pretty much compared to some of the people that were there, like, they just had so much to teach me, and they were just so open to sharing
And
it.
it gives you the feeling of like, "Whoa, it's possible." Like a
Mhm.
different life is possible.
Yeah.
And you look back, it's like, "Wait." And then you try to get your friends and family
I
that
did.
like
I brought
yeah.
so many people to class. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's contagious, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
I know I've tried and I've done it where I'm like, "Come on, join me," like, or "Try this," or "Try that," and, I think the more you do it, the more it's contagious.
Mhm.
Yeah. Especially
Yeah.
when people are stuck in their ways.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Guru Ramdas, yeah, definitely a character, definitely a wizard, definitely, like, just it's, like, so much knowledge. And
Mhm.
and and I like it, when somebody's themselves, and he's definitely
He
himself.
has no shame. Like,
Mm-mm.
he is 100% who he is all the
Mhm.
time.
All
Yeah.
the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, wow, what a journey, and so, like, you got a sense of community there,
Yeah.
right? So,
That
like
was, like, the
yeah.
start of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's cool. And then, you and your friends started doing some park stuff that it was just you guys at
Yeah, it
first.
was us. It was a lot. There was a lot of cooks in the kitchen at first. There was, like, hmm, probably, like, a dozen people organizing together,
Okay.
and it was great. It started out, like, so beautiful. It was so good, and then as maybe I wanna say, like, 1 probably, like, a 1 or 2 years into it, um
I'm just gonna move your mic a little bit, but please,
yeah,
1 or 2 years
1
into
or
it?
2 years into it, we had, like, a few people, Matt being one of them, join in on the organization team aspect of it, and yeah, it was beautiful. It was an amazing journey.
And then, it evolved a couple times, right? From what I remember, there was cosmic consciousness and then
So,
California
it's kinda
consciousness.
silly. So, it started off as California Consciousness,
Right.
and
And then
then
there was also like meeting of the
Meeting of the
minds.
Minds was something that was based in New York.
Right. But it
But
was
he
around the same time,
traveled. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. So,
Mhm.
Meeting of the Minds was around the same time. Um, who now know the organizer of Meeting of the Minds. Like, I've actually done sound baths for his events
And
before.
what's his name?
His name is Ryan.
Mm.
Stand Up 911 is his Instagram name. I think it got deleted, honestly, because
Yep.
he'd been dropping some truth bombs and they
Yep.
tried to shut him down.
I see him
But
pop up once in a
yeah,
while. Yeah,
yeah,
he's like, "Nah, you can't get rid of me."
yeah, he's there. He's there. He's doing his own thing too. Like, life happens, and
Mhm.
so. But yeah, so he was doing Meeting of the Minds, and I didn't know him at the time, but a few of the people that were a part of starting California Consciousness with me, they did know him, and I think they were friends. Like, I don't know. There's like, I don't know, but
Life.
yeah, just life feelings,
Yeah.
men and their feelings.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
It's
there's
part of
Meeting
the
of the
process. It's
Minds.
part of the process.
It is. It's like an opportunity for growth for
Mm.
sure and learning. But there's Meeting of the Minds, and then we started California Consciousness, like, here in California, and then, Men and Their Feelings
Mm.
wanted to change the name.
Mhm.
So we changed the name to Cosmic Consciousness, but it was the same group of people, as the same, um, organization,
I
like,
feel like
we were doing
phase
the
2
same
of it
thing. It
because
was
it's
like, yeah, it
more
was like our up level, right? Like,
right.
let's expand. I was like, the idea was like, we're gonna expand beyond California and go to the cosmos, and so
Right.
that happened, and
Because
then
California consciousness felt like, okay,
limited to California?
yes, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I
And
I
their
supported
feelings.
it. I supported it. And then, like, yeah, life started happening. A few people moved. Like, my sister was a part of the organizing team, and, like, her and her beloved moved up north, so they kinda, like, were still involved, but they were, like, so far away from us, and then, yeah, just life happened and
Yeah.
kind
But
of
you guys
fizzled out.
gained a lot of experience from all that.
We gained so much experience. It really
Mhm.
showed me, like, my ability, because towards the end of my journey with Cosmic Consciousness Tribe, um, I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot for the events. I was organizing a lot. There is a team, so, like, I never was alone, but my specific task and roles were it was a lot for, like, I wanna say I was, like, 18 at the time, and I
Mm.
was, like, doing, like, like making vendor apps and like collecting vendor payments with people and just like organizing stages and schedules. And like I said, like it was with a team, so it wasn't like I was doing anything just me. There was a few things where I was like in charge of, but it taught me like, wow, like I'm really doing this. And then life happened again.
Yeah.
And the organizing team, there was like a few people, it was like a split.
Mhm.
Like there was just people who didn't feel that they were in resonance with working with certain people that were in the organization team. And it was like to the point where they weren't in the space to resolve anything, or they didn't have the desire to resolve anything. They were just like, our time here is done. So they
Okay.
had like this idea of having two cosmic consciousness tribes.
Right.
And um
So in essence, everybody wanted to do kind of their own
everyone
thing,
wanted to do it but not together.
but not together, right?
And then there was like these like few of us in the middle that were like, nah, shadow work time, like we're gonna do it together. But it was like too late for some of them.
Things were said,
It was,
feelings were
yeah,
felt,
yeah, like definitely like
things were
feelings were
done.
hurt, and that's a part of the human experience. And the way, like, looking back that I see it is like we all came together in our light and we were like so deep in our heart space and we were just shining our light, and then like our shadows started to come out. And I think some people just got really attached to others' light that they didn't
Mm,
want to accept that they also had these shadow aspects of themselves, or maybe they just didn't feel like it was their job to receive those shadow aspects
yeah.
of other people, or whatever it is. Like, to be honest, it's not really something that's like super clear, just because I feel like people were just like, I'm done, like I want to do this over here and I don't want to do it with these people. And then they were like, well, we're going to keep doing it. And I was just like, I don't, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel good for me.
Something that I noticed, well, two things that I noticed is that, and I was never really close.
Mhm.
I was telling you earlier, like anytime these events came through, maybe there was 6 a year, for example, 6, I would only make it to 1 or 2 just
Mhm.
because of my schedule and my life, what I had going on. But what I've seen from an outsider's perspective is that everybody's still kind of doing their own thing and everybody still has a community and everybody's still shining a light, and like,
Mhm.
and it's okay, like maybe there were misunderstandings and maybe there were feelings hurt or things said, but another thing that I've always noticed is not just within this community but any community, indigenous, spiritual, work, relationships, friends, whatever it is, a group of people, there is always misunderstandings,
Mhm.
conflicts,
Yeah.
regardless of what we're trying to do as a group. There's always something that comes up. There's always, we're human. Yeah, we're spirit, but you know what? We're human too. We're here.
Yeah.
We're on Earth, and musicians, bands. Like
Yeah.
all types of things that happen
Mhm.
anywhere. Church. Schools. Like
Yeah.
wherever. There's always something that comes up, and it's okay. It's part of being human, and sometimes we're not meant. The contract was there. That's where it was
Yeah,
supposed to end,
that's how I feel looking back on it, is like we definitely all served our purpose working together. And I feel like so much good came from that. It didn't feel that way in the moment. It felt like out of
Mhm.
control or whatever, right? Like I think too, like just like the people pleaser in me just wanted everybody to be happy and everybody to just like
That's
get
fair. Yeah.
along. But I do think that we just like our time together as a collective was like complete. And like you said, like everyone's doing their own, they're all serving in their own ways, whether
Yeah.
it's like collectively or whether they're just focusing on their family structure right now. Like whatever it is and wherever they are, like I trust that everyone's happy, and most of the people I'm still in connection with,
Mhm.
and I know that they're doing great and they're happy and they're serving in their own way and they're
Right.
in their dharma. So I think it's beautiful, and it
Yeah.
definitely like like, community healing was birthed from it, which is,
Yeah,
like,
that's a good segue. Tell me about
amazing.
this community healing that I hear about.
Um, yeah, so we were doing sound baths. So Matt, um, who's my partner, he started doing sound baths like on his own outside of the Cosmic Consciousness Collective thing. He was just like with like a few other people and he was just doing free sound baths in the park. And it was just like, he loved it. He just loved sharing in that way. And when all that happened, and I was like, hey, like, I don't really feel good about this split thing. I'm not choosing a side. He kind of was like, well, let's just do our own thing. Like, let's just keep going and just see what happens with everyone else and like create a space where everyone's welcome. Like
Right,
from the organizing structure, like whoever wants to be here is here. And like we're never gonna tell anyone that they can't be a part of something. Um, so we did. We started it and it was so beautiful. And we had like our first event and it was amazing. It
yeah,
was so much love in the space. And the second community healing event that we did, every single person that was a part of Cosmic Consciousness was there and they were happy and they were vibing and they were enjoying themselves. And it wasn't like awkward or there wasn't any like tension. And so we were like, wow, like we did it. We literally just brought everybody back together, like maybe
yeah.
not the way we wanted it to be.
And where was that? Remind
That was
me.
in LA at Elysian Park.
By the Dodger
Yeah.
Stadium.
Yeah. And just a
Mhm.
big field surrounded by trees. Matt won't tell you the story this way, but I found that spot. We were driving around for hours looking for like the ideal spots and we saw it as like a nook because they have specific spots at the park that you could rent out
Okay.
and like get a permit for and they tell you where to go and that wasn't one of the spots and we just like went and we're like wow like this doesn't like we got out of our car and we just walked down the
Mhm.
grass and we're like this doesn't feel like we're in LA right now like
Right.
it was just this beautiful nook like surrounded by so many trees, just a big grass field, like, the way the sun hit it is just so perfect, and it's, like, enclosed by hills on both sides, and
Mm.
it's just it was and it's just huge, it was magical, so we were like, "This is the spot," and it was perfect. It was so perfect for what we were intending to create.
It was perfect. I was
Yeah.
lucky enough to go to that one for
Yeah,
sure,
it
and I do
was
remember seeing all the original organizers there and all
Mhm.
that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time, like, for sure.
And so, okay, so maybe for people that don't know what we're talking about, what does this consist of? Like, kinda paint the picture for us, like, okay, we're talking about a park, we're talking about an event. What's going on? Like, who's present? What's the visual? What are we doing?
Yeah, so we have multiple sections. So we'll have like a workshop section, a talk section, and then eventually we expanded to having two talk workshop sections. And we'll do an opening ceremony with a sound bath and just welcoming everyone into the space. And then we'll just go off into different workshops and talk. So we'll have like a yoga class, we'll have a women's and a men's circle. One time we did like a unity healing circle, which was so beautiful. Um,
That was beautiful.
yeah,
Mhm.
and just different talks. Like pretty much it's whoever is in our field at the time that we feel has something to share with the community. So you've taught, right? Community
Yeah.
you taught a Kundalini class there once, right?
No, I actually spoke about the subconscious part of the mind.
Yes. Okay.
Something
Okay.
I've been intrigued by for many
Yeah,
years
I love
now.
that.
And I mean, I do remember people talking about like psychedelics, or just their own personal experiences.
Yep.
Like the same things we were talking about earlier, food. The
Yeah.
topics are endless, pretty
Yeah,
much.
really, like, we've had, like yeah, like, womb, like, talks on womb, we've had talks on, like, water, consciousness, and, um, like, the veganism and, um, different, like, superfoods has been a topic. Um,
Superfoods, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
we've had talks on, There's lots of things. I wish I could just, like, pull up a flyer and read all of
Yeah. No, for
the
sure.
titles,
So
yeah,
lectures,
lectures,
classes, but also, the vendors, like, the vendors is a
the vendors bring the
big
magic. I mean,
yeah,
the people bring the magic, but the vendors are the people.
right.
Yeah, so we'll have different, like, artisans in the community, small businesses, so we'll have food vendors. We keep it vegan because there's just so many vegan people, and it's like, if you're not vegan, you can eat vegan food, but if
Right,
you're vegan, you don't really wanna eat not vegan food, so we
right.
just keep it vegan because it's, like, delicious, so bomb. And then we'll have, like, crystal vendors, lots of crystal vendors. That's definitely, like, a hot
Mhm.
a hot one in the community. Massage therapists, Reiki healers, all types of energy workers, card readers.
Ooh, card readers, yeah.
Yeah, we've had some, like,
Right.
really amazing, like, just very intuitive people doing some, like, amazing work, like, this one beautiful woman, she would bring, like, her copper pyramid, and she would do healing sessions underneath the copper pyramid in the park, like, so amazing, so
Mm.
magical, and she's super tapped in. She does, like, energy healing work, and she'll channel, like, just different guides, ancestors that are tapping in and having messages for you, and, um yeah, just like little businesses, like, really anyone that
Clothing as
yeah,
well?
there's
Yeah,
clothes, jewelry, artists. We would have, like, a
bunch of
community
artists.
canvas.
Yeah.
So it's, like, a place where you could just go and, like, paint on a blank canvas, but then
Mhm.
throughout the day, it's, like, not blank. They're actually hanging in our house. I'm sure you know
I've
those
seen them.
paintings in the house.
Very
Yeah,
unique.
super
Yeah.
amazing, yeah.
What about okay,
Um
like, not to, like, downgrade anybody, but what was your favorite food?
Oh my goodness, Jade's Vegan Sushi?
Yes.
Shout out.
For sure.
Yeah,
I think everybody, yeah.
so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, Jay's
Mhm.
Vegan Sushi, so good. Oh, she's amazing. I wanna say the owner, her name's Stephanie,
Mm.
but that's awkward if it's wrong, but I think her name is Stephanie. You would think her name is Jade because it's Jade's Vegan Sushi, but, yeah, so good. I love that, and then, um Love Amore. There's a pizza guy. I think it's like Love Amore
Mhm.
Pizza or something. Super good. It's hard to choose, but Jay's Vegan Sushi is for sure
I'm with
like
you.
up there.
I'm with
So
you.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So good.
for me, it was one of the first vegan sushis that was, like, up there. Like, I was like, "Ooh, this is really good."
Yeah, her sauces. I'm like a sauce. I'm a
Mhm.
sauce girl. Like I love me some good sauces and her
Yeah.
sauces are so good.
You know what? What's something that Matt brought to community healing that wasn't part of, like I don't f I don't know. I wasn't really part of the other stuff, but that I feel like wasn't a big part that now it's a huge, huge part of community
The
healing?
music.
The
Yeah.
music.
He's a hip hop head.
He's a hip
Yeah,
hop
no,
head.
we're super passionate about the music, and it
Mhm.
has evolved into something that we didn't really I mean, I don't wanna say we had expectations, but it was not in our vision where what has evolved, and we love it. We love the music.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
evolved. Like, I remember he's always been into music,
I know.
and I remember, like, the whole event, he's, like, centered and, like, his mind's on organization mode and all
Yep.
that, but once the music comes out, he's
All
like,
of a sudden, he's
yeah,
jumping? Like,
yeah,
how's this tall
jumping,
ass 4
rapping.
feet in the air right now?
And there's so many great artists that come through and, like,
Yeah.
we're talking about, like, conscious art, rap, music, like,
Yeah.
really, really conscious stuff that, like, now it's a vibe.
It's such a vibe.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we've, like oh, the music's so good, and yeah, we felt like we didn't have enough time for music at the event, so we literally just started creating events just for the music, and we just, like, not gonna do talks, I'm not gonna do workshops, we're just gonna have people come and perform, and that has been so
It
amazing.
has,
Like,
yeah.
oh, so yeah, we love the music and we love the artists. Like they're like our family. Like the artists that we've worked with. I won't say every single artist that has performed at our events are like family to us now. Mm, But I would say like 99.8% of them are.
Right.
Like there's probably 1 or 2 artists that we're maybe not like super, super close with, but we just have so much love and yeah, music is like it really is, it's healing.
Yeah.
You could really deliver such powerful messages with music and yeah, we love it. We love the music.
Community healing turned into a party. I
Yeah.
remember you guys had a big event, like awesome big event. I took Kai with me, somewhere in downtown.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember the name of the place, but there was a stage and like the whole setup was awesome. Like there's furniture everywhere already, and
Mhm.
there's like a bar or something like that, and
Yeah.
there's a back spot, um, like a backspace. I'm sorry, and like
Mhm.
a bus, and like people were just chilling on
It
like
was a
this
vibe.
bus.
Mhm.
Totally a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called Awa Oasia. They just
Mm.
closed that space, but they relocated and they're actually doing a similar thing to what we're doing now with our house. And they just have a home in downtown LA that they're cultivating events and opening up for a community there. It's much
Mhm.
smaller than the warehouse, but that warehouse was a super amazing manifestation.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was an awesome event.
Also found by me. Matt always is like, I'm gonna find a place and I found it. It was so synchronistic how we found it. And we met with him and the guy that was running the space is just he's super cool and he was so aligned with our vision and then like making things as aesthetically pleasing is always like a goal for us. Like we
Mm,
want people to feel like because it's just part of the experience, and we walked in there, and they had that, like, little swinging that hanging bed
that hanging bed
and
was
just
dope.
all the yeah, like, all of the furniture where it's like our vendors didn't even have to bring tables
Mm,
because they had tables there, and they had, like, the big bar, which we were like we didn't really want alcohol there, but they had, like, fancy elixirs that they could make, and then they had the side room. I don't know if you went into the side room.
were
Where,
there
like, the
massages?
healers
The
yeah, there was,
healers?
like,
Yeah.
people doing readings and massages in there. It was just it was it was such a perfect space, and they had their
Mm,
stage already, and then they had this, like, beautiful, like, I think it was, like, the Sri Yantra mural, like, up above the stage. It was just it was
yeah.
amazing.
I kicked it in the side room for a little bit. When I got there, Kai was
VIP
still
access.
yeah, yeah, Kai was still sleeping, so I went in there because it was quiet in there,
Yeah.
and, like, the lights were kinda dim, I think? I don't remember, but
Mhm.
it was a chill spot, like, it was such a vibe, and, I mean, I think she was 3 at the time. I mean, how long ago
That
was
was in
that?
2019 because that was our last that was a well,
2019.
our first we had 2 events there.
Mm,
The first one we did was in I wanna say June of 2019,
okay.
and then the second one we did was September or November. I think it was September, like the end of September, but it was 2019 for sure
Yeah.
because it was right before COVID.
Right before, yeah.
Yeah.
I must have gone to the first one. It was awesome. I mean, you guys have at one point we're gonna make a documentary out of all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, for sure. Because there's been a lot. And
Mhm.
now like, I mean, we're talking about a huge events right now, but like, also you guys have been doing. You guys were doing bi-weekly. Was it bi-weekly
In the park?
at the park
Yeah, we were doing biweekly, which is every other week,
for
right?
a long time,
For a long
and that
time,
was
yeah.
like not like a like not too many logistics. It was just you guys
No, we just
and
pop up.
just pop up and whoever wants to join, and then the
Mhm.
potluck and all that stuff, and
Yeah, and then,
even
like,
that stuff.
a drum circle manifested, like, we didn't even that just the community created that, like,
Hmm.
they just started doing the drum circle, and then that just became such a beautiful part of the experience, such
And
a beautiful part of the day.
that's out there in Long Beach.
Yeah, so originally we were doing 1 week in Long Beach and 1 week in LA. Like, usually at the lagoon or sometimes we would go to Dockweiler at the beach.
I remember that. You're right.
Mhm.
I do
Yeah,
remember
good
that.
times, yeah, and then after, um, we had Lily, we started just doing Long Beach because it was just so close to our house. It was
Right.
just, like, easier for us to because now that we have a baby, we have to, like, take 2 cars usually for all of our instruments.
Right.
Yeah, and we've been really wanting to do another one. We're going to do another one, but it's expanded beyond, like, what we feel just me and him could hold space for on our own. So we've had other people starting to come with us to facilitate sound and just to like be a part of the experience with
Yeah.
us, and aligning our schedules with so many other people's schedules is like has been a bit of a challenge
Yeah, for
in the
sure.
spring, but we finally locked in a date. So we're going to be having one very soon.
Cool.
Again, yeah, that for that like most of the people that help us can come out, and yeah.
And with all this, obviously, at the house,
Yeah.
you guys have been holding it down at the house and having
Yeah.
events there. Obviously, my favorite, because I was able to participate, was the open mic. And I remember the
Yes.
first open mic with our brother that went to Hawaii. What was his name?
Derek.
Derek. Yeah, like he was like
Pleiades.
Pleiades. Yes,
Yeah.
like such energy, dude. Like,
He's
and
a vibe, yeah,
such
we
a great
miss
host.
him.
Such
I'm
a great
so happy
host.
for him because he's doing so good on the Big Island,
I
and
think
at the same time, I really miss him.
anywhere he goes, he's gonna be doing so good.
Yeah.
He's such a vibe, and like
Mhm.
his energy. I remember the way he hosted that event. He made that event.
I know, I think that might be why we haven't done one. We're like, "How can we
No,
cultivate that same energy?"
yeah, yeah,
No, but I literally just said yesterday that I wanna do another open mic, so
yeah,
there's definitely gonna be one coming soon.
yeah. That's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Open mic. That's like a side event for you guys, but then the sound baths. That's always continuing over
Mhm.
there. And then all right, let's take it back a little bit. Even though Matt's not here, but um, obviously there has been other people that have been part of like the co-organizing with you guys those efforts, and I do remember like the transitions of okay where you guys are at now, but prior he was in Playa or Marina, or was he before? I forget where he was. He was over there by that school by LMU,
Yeah, it wasn't Playa del Rey.
but it's really
It wasn't
close.
Mar Vista either, I don't
No, no, it's
know.
really close to Marina.
Yeah.
Because Marina's down there.
Mhm.
So it might still be Marina or it might be like another city.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember him doing sound
Sound baths
healing,
there.
sound baths
Mhm.
there in that what is that considered, the
They called
solarium?
it the solarium. Yeah, it was like a beautiful sunroom.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
obviously Kyle was there and
Yeah.
they were organizing a bunch of stuff. Funny story that I was telling Patty last time when I was with her here. I actually remember the first day that Matt was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get some crystal balls and
I
start doing
love
sound
it.
healing. And like we were talking about the importance of showing up. Like he showed up, he had that vision, and he followed through with it. And
Mhm.
they did things at the solarium, and then at the parks, and then you guys have been doing what you guys have been doing. And something you mentioned earlier to me off the mic was like how how the consistency of you guys doing community healing has also allowed other people to like intake that energy and also then create their own expression, like
Mhm.
whether it's their own meditation at the park, their own yoga at the park, their own sound healing at the park, whatever it is. But like just by you guys being that lighthouse and vibrating that vibration, allowing other people to like be influenced and be inspired and then do their thing. Which is funny because like I mean that's awesome. To me that's awesome. And then it's like as many people as we can get to share all these things because like we're not even talking about the importance of what you guys are doing. We're
Mhm.
kind of just talking about like the journey of it all.
Yeah.
But the inspiration people take from it and give themselves permission to them, it's self-initiation, self-permission to put these organization events together themselves and hey, show up at this park. Cause like at the Legion Park, they're still doing sound baths there and they're still doing
Mhm.
yoga stuff there, like that's how much of an impact you guys have had. And then you come from the original group. Like even if those people aren't part of these organizations, like the importance of them showing up at that time and creating like it's a ripple effect.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just think that kind of shit is
It's
awesome.
beautiful. Yeah, it really is beautiful too. And that's like the whole intention of cultivating community spaces is to support people in their growth, and even, like, not only people organizing, but also, like, vendors at our events and healers at our events. There's a lot of people that their first time ever marketing themselves or their business was at an event like that, and that's
Mm.
so amazing, and now that's what they do for a living. Like, that's amazing. And even the women's circles, like, that's why I did that before sound healing. Like, I've been hosting women's circles since 2016,
Mm.
and just seeing, like, how many women have come to a women's circle and are now hosting women's circles is,
Yeah.
like, amazing. It's so beautiful.
Do you want to dive into that a little bit and kind of just share with us that
Yeah, what
magic?
the magic?
Yeah, like what are you talking about? What is this women's
Oh,
circle? Like
so
what's the importance of it and what are the benefits?
oh,
Like what do you feel comes out of all that?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, I started women's circles because I was in a very deeply healing stage of my life. I have always like loved so just talking to people or even like listening to people. I love like being a safe space or a comforting space for people. And when my mom passed away, I had a really really healing experience. So I got invited to um oh my god, Bhakti Fest. I got invited to Bhakti. Well,
Mm.
it's actually Shakti Fest. So super synchronistic. A really good friend of mine was working for the event and he was like, "Do you want to come with me? Free ticket. Like you could help me a little bit." But he really wanted to gift it to me because I was like mourning my mom's passing and it was an event that's just honoring the Divine Mother, and it happened to be on Mother's Day weekend, which also happened to be my mom's birthday.
Wow.
So I was like super like heart cracked open, and they had a women's dome there. They had I think they called it like the red tent. And I just had like a deeply, deeply healing experience. And I had never heard of women's circles before. And I'm just like at this event that's honoring women, the Divine Mother, and I'm with these people that are in their 50s and 60s and they're holding these spaces and I'm like having the opportunity to connect with these women and they're affirming to me like they're just seeing things in me that I didn't even see in myself at that time, and like multiple women that were facilitating there were like, you have something, like you have something to share, like, and I just like couldn't let that go. So going home from that, I was like, I missed it. I missed just being in a circle of women and, like, being able to cry and, like, hug and sing together. It was just so much magic, and I was just like, "I need to create this," and I looked, and I just wanted to go to a women's circle, and there were no women's circles in my community,
Mm.
and so that I knew of. I'm sure there were some, but I didn't know of them. I couldn't find them. They weren't accessible to me, and so I just created it, and I was so scared. I was so scared. I was playing myself. I was playing super small. I was asking all these people to host it with me,
Mhm.
and everybody said no. And I was
Yeah,
like, "What the
yeah,
heck?"
yeah.
And they're like, "No, I don't want to do that." Like it just wasn't their it wasn't their medicine, or at least it wasn't
Mm.
their time. And the only people that like would have been willing to do it with me were like I had one soul sister that lived in Central Coast at the time, and she
Mhm.
was like 5, 6 hours away. And then my other sister, actual blood sister, was like 8 hours away. So it was just like everything was telling me to just do it. And so I just did it and it just like everything came into my lap. Like I found a place that was I didn't want to charge for it. I wanted it to be free and just like accessible to anyone. I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I was like I just need to get a circle of women and we're just going to sit in a circle and like talk. And I was already practicing kundalini, so I was like planning on just sharing some meditation and breath work and just like tapping into our womb space because I've always been very connected to like the womb as an energetic portal and like the way that our body holds trauma and pain, and I was just cracked open. I was going through so much healing. I also was like really feeling like for another podcast, my mom's life is like her journey, the traumas that she went through were a lot. I felt like they were so much for her human body to hold, and her spirit, like, couldn't take it. And I just was like, if I felt that if my mom had a healthy support system, she probably could have figured out, like, how to heal more and how to be, like, happier in her body, and maybe could have, like, made better choices that would have allowed her to live longer, just like my healing mind was telling myself that. And it just made me think, like, how many other women have gone through so much trauma that they don't know how to heal, or they don't know, like, who to talk to, or, like, maybe their parents are most likely, usually it's our parents who kind of are the contributors to a lot of our trauma. So I was just like, I need to create these spaces for women to come together and talk about all this shit that we're hiding inside of us. Or, like, my mom didn't, like, learn about, like, inner child healing or trauma healing till she was, like, 40. And I was just like, that can't be a thing in our generation. Like, we need to have spaces to talk about this now. Like, we can't wait till we're in our 40s and 50s to heal. Like, well, we got too much stuff to do here. So yeah, I just started the spaces, and it was, like, so beautiful. My first circle, there was, like, like, when you start something and you're like, even, like, nobody's gonna come.
Mm.
What am I gonna say? And there's, like, literally 20, 30, there's, like, almost 30 women in the room with me. I was the youngest person in the room, and I just feel like we all shed so many tears in the most beautiful, like, impactful way, and it was all I needed to just keep going, and so I just kept going, and I kinda let them, like, create themselves. I never had a plan. I would always have a plan B, is, like, what I would tell myself, so I would have little things written down in case I got, like, nervous or had, like, a brain fart. I would be like, "Okay, well, I'll just ask this question," or whatever. But every time, it was always just super intuitive flow. I would just tap into the people that were in the room, and I was just like, "What," like, either I would intuitively, internally ask, like, "Okay, what is needed in this space?" Or I would literally out loud, like, ask, like, "How is everyone feeling? Like, what do you guys wanna share? What do you guys wanna know?" And, like, I don't know everything, but I'm sure someone in this room has an answer to whatever someone else is feeling or wondering or pondering on, and it just kind of, yeah, it just grew from there, and it's just, like, very organic, very just, like, authentic flow of women gathering, and it's been really beautiful. Like, I still connect with most of the women that I've sat in circle with, and I've just gotten really beautiful feedback, and a lot of women have been held in a way that they had never been held before, like, energetically. So, and sometimes physically, like, sometimes we would literally physically hold each other and just, like, allow, like, either everyone's crying or there's just one person that's really crying. And um yeah, it's definitely a magical space for sure. Lots of healing, lots of manifestation and co-creation, and opening up the voice. Really, really passionate about that. Like,
Right.
we're not all Mariah Careys, but we really all, it would benefit every single human being on earth to sing, whether it's to themselves or to a group of people. Um,
In the shower.
in the shower, yeah. And, like, I always tell people, like, sing like you're in the shower around other people, because it is seriously, like, the most liberating thing you can do is to just let your voice be heard. And if you can sing and not judge yourself for how that sounds, it creates space within your consciousness, within your brain, to allow yourself to speak without wondering or judging yourself on how are my words going to be received. It's just, like, it's so liberating.
Mm.
And the throat chakra also is very connected to the womb, to the sacral chakra, like, on a physical level, on an energetic level. So if we're able to open up our throats, we're able to open up our wombs, and just, like, that's where all the magic happens.
Mm. Interesting. I
Mhm.
was talking about the throat chakra the other day when I was teaching a yoga class, and I was saying how, like, sometimes it's not about expression. Sometimes it's about learning how to close it and listening because it's
Mhm.
all here. Like it's all in the same energy. And if you don't know how to like seal it, then you don't know how to open these, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%.
And,
Yeah.
but it just depends. Like,
Yeah, some people definitely overshare, for sure. Yeah.
right. Or just don't know how to listen.
Mhm.
I mean, it just depends. Everybody's different. It just
Yeah.
depends. Like I always like to bring that aspect as well because a lot of the time when we talk about expression, we just talk about like
Mhm.
open. But sometimes
Yeah.
we need to zip,
Mhm.
and so we can zip.
And that's a powerful part of sitting in circle because you
Mm,
have to listen. It's awkward and you look like so silly and so disrespectful if you can't sit and listen. Like, and it's happened, it's manifested. It's taught me how to establish boundaries and stand up for other women, right? Like, I've had the oversharers in circles laughing and joking with the person sitting next to them while someone across the circle is literally crying and sharing an experience that they've never shared with anybody, literally
right. That's what
anybody.
comes through with these circles, right?
Yeah, like,
Where
literally, like, women have shared, like, that they've had abortions that literally their best friends don't know about, or they've been raped and molested that literally, like, no other they've never said the words out loud. They've never even written it in a journal, and they're just inspired to let that go. And like when you share those things, like you're really releasing. That's like the first, it's not the first step for everyone, but it's a huge
it's a
step in
huge step.
healing because
Yeah.
you're literally like those secrets you can be a prisoner of them. And once you share them, even if it's just with one person, like you're freeing yourself
It is a release.
from that was holding you down. And yeah, I've definitely had to invite people to listen and to tap in because it's a level of compassion that not everyone has,
Mm,
and not everyone is here to quote unquote hold space.
right.
Although when you're in those spaces and it's always the people that can't listen that want to be heard.
Right.
So it's like if you want us to sit here and listen to you share your heart or your thoughts and theories, give that same respect
Yeah.
to everyone else. That's why I love eye gazing because it's a even exchange. It's silent, so you're not listening or talking, but you're just present.
Mm,
And it's like you have to, like, you don't have to be present, but it's just you're there and you're so close to the other person, and it's like it's just this even exchange of energy. And the more presence you offer them, the more presence that they're able to give you, and it could just be this like beautiful, deeply connected experience if you allow it to be. And
mm,
it kind of just teaches people how to like be present, and that's like such a huge part of listening because you don't really have to be that present to talk. You could just kinda talk and
right.
you're just in your own flow.
You're flowing.
But to listen, like, it takes presence.
Mhm.
You gotta really be there, centered, open.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. The whole time you're talking, I'm like, I feel like it's a learning experience. It could be a learning experience. It can be a releasing experience. It could be all of it. And also like
Mhm.
being vulnerable and actually other people being brave and vulnerable allows you to be brave and vulnerable as
Mhm.
well. So when somebody opens up, it makes it easier for you to open up because it can be scary to share your deepest thoughts that maybe you haven't shared with anybody else,
Mhm.
even if they're just thoughts that you've thought before or experiences that you've had. Um, Imagine how naked you must feel in front of a group of people, not just one person. I'm talking about
Mhm.
a group of people, and then the eyes are very powerful. Eyes are very powerful, right?
Mhm.
Like consciously and subconsciously, we pick up when somebody's mad or when somebody's happy, right? Just by
Mhm.
the look, just by looking, and then look at the look in their eyes, right? Or when somebody's being sneaky, or if somebody's interested, right? You give it a little, like, oh, she was
Mhm.
looking, all
Yeah.
these things. Eyes are very powerful, and so like a round of eyes is looking at you, and you're about to share something deep or something traumatic or some memory that makes you shake, even makes you shake, makes you cry. And yeah, it is a release. You're
Mhm.
absolutely right. And it is very important. I mean, it might sound like silliness to people that haven't experienced it or aren't open to it, but yeah, like just showing up with an open heart and an open mind to things like that can go a long way. And doesn't mean you need to do it all the time or that it needs to become a lifestyle, or it can, like it does, like whatever resonates. It
Mhm.
just, if that is your calling, like if you feel that it calls you to participate in one of those circles, fucking do it. And then just go with an open heart. And if actually, I feel like anybody that shows up to these kind of circles are looking to what would you say, like maybe heal or release or
And connection. I think
mm,
that's a huge part of it is connection.
yeah,
Um,
right, community connection,
yeah,
right,
I think that some people, they come just interested in a new experience. Like they heard about it. They maybe on a subconscious level are ready to heal, but then they're also like they don't know what that a lot of people don't know what that looks like. They don't know what like we in the quote unquote spiritual community, conscious community, we have all these like terms that we'll throw around and some of us it just comes so natural or we've known it for so long so we don't really think about like the fact that not everyone has like knowledge. Like when someone says like, "Oh, like I'm going to heal my inner child." Like there's so many people that hear that and they're like, "What?" Like even just the term inner child, they're like, "What?"
right,
Like and so I think a lot of people come just like super super just bare and just open and like what does this all mean? Like even like the womb, like connecting to your womb, they're like masturbate and it's like no, like it's so much more than that and I don't think that every single person that walks into a circle is looking for the same thing. I don't think some people don't know. Like I start every circle with opening up. I love to have people's voices be heard. Because we were just saying, like, some people are super shy, they don't talk at all, and then some people are super talkative, and
right.
they're like, "Hi, welcome, this is me, I'm here," and then there's other people that are like, "If I don't make eye contact with anybody, I won't have to say anything,"
Right, I'll be safe. I
And
actually, like, I resonate with that.
yeah, I have my moments. I
Mhm.
am both. I can definitely be both, and it really just depends on, like so it depends on so many things for me, but there's some people where they just have their baseline, and it's like their baseline is super reserved and like, legitimately scared to be seen, and then there's others that are just, like, all they wanna do is be seen and be heard,
Mm,
and I just really try to cultivate a balance of that and, like, not allow those people that really wanna be seen and heard to kinda overpower the circle, because I've learned a lot, and I'm a very, like I a very laid back, facilitator, like, I really just like the collective energy to allow itself to
right.
manifest what wants to be in the space. Although I've learned through the years, I have to have a little bit of structure, a little bit of boundaries,
Yes.
because in that flow, there will be that person that comes in and just takes advantage of the
Right.
space, and it's like, "Oh, we're just gonna do whatever," so I'm just gonna talk. So I always open up with everyone sharing their name, their intention, and sometimes I'll, like, throw in, like, "What's your favorite fruit?" Or, like, something random, like, "What's your sun sign?" Or, "What's your
Right.
moon sign?" Whatever, but I always make it a point to open up the space for everyone's voice to be heard, and
Mm,
then that helps me, like, learn what people's intentions are, and sometimes people share 1 word, and sometimes people share 5, 10 sentences, and
right.
they're like, "Oh, I'm going through this, and I really need to talk about this, and I also wanna release this, and I wanna call on this," and there's other people where it's like, "I don't know what my intention is." Like, they legitimately don't know why they chose
To show
to be
up.
in the space, but
Right.
it's like something pulled them there, whether it's their friend wanting them to experience something new or whether it's just them. And it's like cool because then people just get to think about that and they get to
Yeah.
reflect like, why am I here? Like, why did I just put myself in a circle of women? And that's like the sisterhood wound like runs deep. A lot of people don't feel space like they don't feel safe around other women. And some of them have good reason for that because of their past experiences. So it's nice to be in a space where like everyone's here with good intentions, like, whether you don't know your intention or whether
Right.
you know exactly why you're here, like, no one's in this space to just Like, no one comes to a women's circle to, like, judge another woman
Mm.
or, like, sit and make fun, like, that'd be silly, and honestly, if they did, like, the joke's on them, like, why are you wasting your time on that, you know?
They need some
So,
childhood
they
healing.
need some inner child
Inner
healing, they need a
child.
hug.
They need a
They need
hug.
a
I
hug.
feel like as you're sharing this, like I also what's coming up for me is that I mean I think we're all like this. We learn from other people and like hearing maybe somebody share their struggle and then also maybe how they're working through it. Or if depending on the circle, I've been part of circles where there's a space that opens up for maybe sharing how any ideas that you might have for the other person.
Mhm.
Like, hey, maybe you can approach it this way, or maybe change your perspective a little bit and maybe look at it this way, which is a
Yeah.
big deal because perspective is so important because like
Mhm.
sometimes we're stuck in our own way of thinking and then an outsider can see something we don't see. And I feel like that is also a big part of like healing and changing. And honestly, spending a night with a group for an hour or two, or three, whatever, however long it is, can change the direction that your mind is in, and then
Mhm.
hopefully the whole goal is that we live a more balanced life, a more peaceful life in the mind and the body, right? And obviously in the spirit. But
Mhm.
I feel like yeah, listening to people and hearing perspective that isn't ours is a huge part of the circle, as well as the expression and being vulnerable. And you're absolutely right about having boundaries because if there's no boundaries or structure, then it's unfair and it's unbalanced. And then the people that are more timid might not have that experience of 2 3 hours because they weren't given the opportunity. I've also
Mhm.
been part of circles where the structure sucks and I wasn't able to express or I wasn't able to participate. And not just in healing circles, also like in like poetry
Mhm.
mics, where it's like there was a really bad structure and then not just me, but like a bunch of people weren't able to like show up and express because the structure sucked, the
Mhm.
time it wasn't fair and people overshared and things like that. So it can happen in multiple communities.
Yeah.
The importance of it. But I completely love the fact that and I do this too when it comes to like teaching or even speaking, even doing this. Like sometimes I'll write things and like gather my own thoughts, but for the most part, like I feel like there's more magic and more authenticity when it comes to flowing and just
Mhm.
going, which is like, okay, cool. I got my plan. I got something. I'm a little structure here, but let's just go.
Mhm.
And for me, it's always worked out the best like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Healing. What else? What else can we heal?
What else can we heal?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, we're talking about so many
I think
things.
everything could use a little bit of love for sure.
Mm,
I think there's lots of things that we could quote unquote heal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But how else can we heal?
How else can we
Yeah.
heal?
I mean, we're talking about
Hmm.
community healing. We're talking about sound. We didn't even touch sound and the benefits of sound, um, the benefits of community, the benefits of group. We didn't even dive into childhood stuff or shadow work stuff.
I
Like
know.
we can talk about that for a long,
We
long
really
time.
could.
A lot of
Yeah.
topics. And you're absolutely right. Like you were talking about like when people hear these things, they're like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like
Mhm.
even for me, sometimes I'm like, there needs to be more context. There needs to be more information for people that are. You can't just throw these words out and expect people to understand. Like maybe for somebody that's 10 years in, like you can keep up, but somebody
Mhm.
that is just tiptoeing into this type of way of thinking, lifestyle, these terms can be, I don't know, like intimidating or even confusing. I mean, which is fine. Like everybody's on their own journey, but
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this community and the things that we're trying to do. Really, right? Because I feel like I teach yoga, and I write poetry and I express like why am I doing this, right? The reason I do is because I know the benefits I've gotten from it. and the hope is that somebody else can get a benefit
Mhm.
from it as well. It's like, hey, like try this, you might change your life a little bit. Cause like especially in teenage years or in like early adulthood, like we make maybe bad decisions or we carry baggage, right? The traumas
Mhm.
and the karmas and all that stuff. We carry them with us. And um, so far, I feel like I've been blessed that I haven't made like big mistakes in my life where they're unreversible. But a lot of people do that. And
Mhm.
there's also fucked up family structures. There's also fucked up growing up in fucked up neighborhoods, just in the wrong surroundings. But even those people figure it out sometimes. And I don't know. I guess I'm saying all this to like share that there's ways to heal, multiple ways. And something you said earlier was like, just try. Like,
Mhm.
not everything's gonna flow with you. Like, I can't expect people to like what worked for me works for you. Like if you sit in front of, let's say, a preacher, and I don't go to church, but let's say if you sit in front of a preacher that's preaching the word, whatever the word is, whatever type of preacher it is, full of 100, 200 people, everybody's going to walk out with a different interpretation and translation of what he said or she
Mhm.
said, right? We're going to have a different understanding. So I can't expect people to benefit the same way I benefited. And the whole point is that you try and find what works for you and what feels
Mhm.
good for you. And that doesn't mean that's always going to be the same thing. Later on in life, you might shift into a different way. Like, I know for me, like at one point I was like, you know what, enough of healing. I'm done. Subconscious work off. Shadow work off.
Yeah.
Time to live.
It's important. You
Time to
can get real
experience.
caught up in that. Mhm.
Yeah, time to experience, time to live, time to be. We're not here just to heal. We're not here to just to like suffer. We're not here just to look. Like, we're also here to see, experience, and create. All
Yeah.
these things that there's phases of life, and it's okay. Like, you know what? Nobody's perfect. We're not gonna get it all fucking right at the same time, or like, oh, that's it. I'm set. I have nothing else to do. No, like
Mhm.
I'm gonna get triggered. Maybe with the next person I get in a relationship, they're gonna trigger something that I wasn't able to trigger myself. Life hasn't triggered for me, but boom, there's a partnership in front of me, and they're triggering me.
Mhm.
They're bringing something up, or a friendship, right? Oh, here's a new friend, and then boom, like they're
Yeah.
triggering something that I'm not perfect. They're not perfect, and it's just life. But
Mhm.
I do remember consciously, like, when was this? Maybe in September of last year, being like, you know what? Right here, right now. I consciously made a decision to stop doing subconscious work and stop doing shadow work. But I was going through it. I
Mhm.
was going through it. And I had no choice. Like, life was like, here, go through it now. And that alone has been powerful because I was able to start like expanding. Like, no longer like going in, but now more of like, I guess,
Yeah.
like blossoming or a being.
That's beautiful.
It's like a rebirth in a way. Like,
Mhm.
you can't be in the death part forever. Like, you can't just heal everything forever. Like, no, at some point, por favor, start living. you
Yeah.
know
And I mean, truly, like, I believe that the day that we are complete with our healing and our growth
mm,
and all the things is like the day that we're just not going to wake up. Like, I don't really feel like this human experience is like just to be healed and like perfect and all knowing. Like, I don't feel like that's what I think that's what we are, like it's in our core. And I don't feel that we need to spend the entirety of our human experience on like digging deep and
mm,
doing the shadow work. I think it's important when it comes up to honor it and grow from it and learn from it and not avoid it.
mhm,
And at the same time, like you can't get caught up in it because it's never going to end. If you really go deep and down there, like you're just going to keep finding it's like the never ending onion. Like it's just like a layer after layer after layer. And then it's like then you feel like you're good, but then you can like tap into your ancestral lineage, and then that's just layer after layer, and then we can even get into past lives. It's just like it just never ends, and I feel like being able to, like, just experience joy and, like, be a beacon of love and light, like, it sounds so cheesy, but it's, like, so real, like, just
Mm.
being able to, like, be human and, like,
Admit that
just
frequency?
yeah, like, it feels good, it feels so good, and to not get so caught up in just, like, "Oh, like, I just need to, like, clear all my chakras and make my aura, like, whatever." It's just like it just gets you could just get really stuck in it. I really feel like it's a loop, and I've seen so many people just get really, really, like, sucked into, like, the shadow work and,
Yeah,
like, everything is shadow work, and every week there's, like, something new that they're dealing with, and it just, like then it starts to show in their external life and just,
right.
like, "I just can't talk to this person because 'cause they're just so toxic and
It
da da da
it
da."
becomes their frequency.
It
It
does,
becomes their
yeah.
frequency. I actually, I remember, maybe like 6 years ago? Yeah, let's say about 6 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I was in a really good place. No shadow work, no conscious work. I've heard about it, I've done some of it, but I wasn't doing that at the moment. I was fine, and I was happy. If you genuinely ask me, like, "How are you doing?" I would say, "I'm happy."
Yeah.
And I had a friend, dear friend of mine, really, really good friend of mine at the moment, say, what are you hiding? What do you like, what's down there? Like, why aren't you you're lying. You're not." And I was, like, baffled. I was like,
I am?
yeah, I was like, I'm okay, like, but he was going through it.
Mhm.
And
Misery
maybe
loves company.
and maybe he had been I don't know how long he had been going through it. You know, we don't truly know what our people are going through.
Mhm.
But that moment I was like, it was kinda shocking to me, like, that he was so deep into whatever he was in that he couldn't believe that somebody was okay. And that's the thing about this life, like, Earth is filled with chaos, like, in all levels, like, the animal kingdom, the
Mhm.
plant kingdom, the humans, like, there's always some type of chaos and order and structure, like, there's always, like, like,
Yeah.
there's something. And so,
Mhm.
like, I don't know. Yeah, what you were talking about just
Yeah.
reminded me of that moment of, like, somebody so deep into shadow work that they couldn't believe somebody was okay, and them being okay meant that they were hiding something or they weren't working on something. I was like, "I don't need to be working on something all
Yep.
the fucking time
Yeah.
because I know myself." And actually, the most important thing about when you do this work or whatever, like, first of all, like, if you're just doing whatever this work is, like, and you haven't seen a therapist, please go sign up for a therapist as well because there are many parts to
Yeah.
the human experience,
Uh-huh.
and there's no breath work, there's no meditation, there's no group healing, there's no psychedelic that can replace also therapy. Like, it's all a thing,
Mhm.
a thing. And I think one of the benefits of that stuff is that sometimes we don't want to overspill some other our things to our close ones, like our friends or our lovers or our
Yeah.
partners. Like, we need maybe a little bit more professional help, and
Mhm.
that's okay as well. Like, whatever the case is, the purpose is that we obtain the tools through, like I would say, like a therapist, or a counselor, they study the mind and the way we think, right?
Mhm.
So they can, and for me, for people like me, you were more intuitive. So, like, we can kind of be therapists or counselors without having to have gone through courses in school.
Mhm.
It's more like an energetic or like intuitive level that we can spot things, right? But anyway, my point is that these kind of people, like, they've studied it, so if they see a pattern they'll maybe know how to ask the right questions,
Yeah.
right? And then maybe how to give certain feedback so that the next time these thoughts come, you know how to accept them and also not let them control you,
Mhm.
right? um Meditation, sure, we're thinking it's just the mind, but it's also the body. Breath work, same. We think it's just the body. No, it's also the mind,
Mhm.
right? Like everything has its benefit. Cold showers, you know, the nervous system, right? The nervous system is huge. Like that's why I like talking about the subconscious, because the subconscious, right? We think mind right away, but it's also body. It's
Mhm.
also the nervous system, right?
Mhm.
And where are we? Where are we in our nervous system? Because when we're doing the work, we're typically on survival mode. We're on the other side, the fear based, the unclear thinking. You know, like it just you just feel it in your body,
Mhm.
and yeah, sound baths. It's mind and body. You know, like there's so many tools. My point is that there's so many tools, and whatever works for you, go ahead and try it. You know, like go ahead
Mhm.
and not just for yourself, you know, also for your people, the people around you, the people that want to love you, the people that do love you, you know.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, you know, now we're both in on this journey, our children, you know, like we don't want to pass down bad habits and bad karma, trauma to
Yeah.
them, right? And I feel like our generations are doing that kind of stuff. Now we're the shields. We're like, no, we're not going to repeat things. You know, we're
Mhm.
trying different things now. And they're humans and they're going to get traumatized some way, one way or another.
I know.
There's not, we can't. Again, we're on earth. We can
Mhm.
try our best. But you know what? We're going to for sure put them a couple steps ahead. And then our lineage will heal at some point, you know, because they're going to be doing the work too,
Yeah.
to their level. They're gonna be so grateful. They're gonna look back and talk about you, right? They're gonna say, "My mom was doing this. My mom was doing that," and then they'll be able to express and experience at a level that we weren't able to.
Yes.
And
I think
then,
I think we grew up with parents that were definitely in survival mode. I
mm,
think that especially just, like, being first generation American
tell me about
and having
that. Yeah,
parents. Well, I just think my parents were amazing parents, and they really did the best that they could. I see the way that they did not have the energetic capacity or really, like, the tools or the awareness to live for their happiness. I feel like my parents were very much just in survival mode. I feel like they were making sure that their bills were paid, making sure that their children were being fed, making sure that they had a stable job. Like they're just
right,
in survival mode.
right,
And I feel like our generation is in like thrive mode. Like
right.
we're like yes, like we're gonna survive. Our root chakra is a lot more just like secure, you know? Like we don't like I don't worry about like bills. Like I do, but I don't. Like I trust. Like I know I'm gonna survive. I
Not at the
know
level
that
that they had to worry,
yeah,
and especially like you're saying, like first generation American.
yeah. Yeah. And so I think like being able to raise children and just like cuz obviously like I still get caught up, like I'm still healing the like scarcity programming and all that thing, but like just being able to like teach Lily like the importance of like joy and the importance of
Mm,
just like being like happy and like having a calm nervous system. Like I was watching a reel the other day and it was a 6-year-old talking about the nervous system. And I was like, wow, this is cool. Like this little kid is talking about their nervous system right now. Like that's amazing to me. And yeah, I just feel like I didn't grow up with that. Like I just grew up with like barely hanging out with my dad on weekdays because I was at school and he was working.
right.
And then on the weekends, it was just very like, just like catch up on all of our family time. And like, it was just an interesting way to grow up.
And when you say first generation American, like Where are your parents from?
Well, my mom was born in here. My mom was born and raised in Inglewood, but her
Inglewood.
Inglewood, yeah. Yeah. Um, but her dad, my mom is first generation American. Her dad was born and raised in Palestine in the Middle East.
Whoa.
Yeah, very interesting culture, very different.
Survival mode over there
Uh
in Palestine.
Definitely survival
Yeah,
mode.
right.
Yeah. My grandpa left home very young. So he was in his own survival mode because he was like a kid, teenager, taking care of himself. And then came here and had like lots of children. He has like 8 kids.
Okay.
Um, so that is like, yeah, my mom has a very interesting childhood. Um, my dad, born and raised in the Caribbean. My dad's from Roatan, Honduras. Um, like a very rural. When he was there, it was like a very rural island. Now it's very like touristy. But his family is from, and where most of his family still lives, it's still on the more rural side. Um, they're technically a third world country, so they're pretty behind on resources, but they catch up. Like they have they have a lot there. They don't have as much as us, but
And things are a little more accessible now.
things are more accessible now.
Right.
Yeah, so it's changing and shifting, but yeah, that's a whole. My dad hasn't been home since he was 18 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've gone
Oh.
twice.
And he hasn't.
He's never come, but we're
Oh.
all going this summer in July.
Aw.
Yeah, we'll be there. Actually, our first day of our trip is on my birthday, so
That's so
that'll be
sweet.
like a very magical, very healing. I think it's going to be a huge activation for my dad. My dad's finally tapping into like out of survival mode and like thinking about his happiness and like I don't want to work cuz I don't like it, which is like never a thing that I had
Mm.
ever heard my dad say growing up. He's just like, I'm just gonna do what's like best for the family, and
Right.
like make all the money and make sure everyone's taken care of. And now he's just like, I don't like this. I think I'm gonna quit my job. Yes, do it, dad. I'm like hoping he decides to move to Honduras after um after we go this summer because I would love to have a home there.
He's a sweet person.
He
I've
really
I've
is.
talked to him. He's a really
Yeah,
sweet
he
person.
really is. I love my dad so much, and I actually just spent a week with him. He lives in Arizona, and I just spent a week at his house, and I was just reflecting on, like, our growth, right? Because 'Cause I'm his youngest child, and, like, I've always been, like, his little baby girl, and, I really think I got the best of my dad out of all of
Mm.
my siblings, because I think he was finally old enough to be a parent, like, not age-wise, but maturity-wise. Um, but even then, I feel like he was a little bit of, like, a hands-off dad, and he was very attached to, like, "This is the way, like, you, like, gotta make sure you're good, and, you can't jobs aren't supposed to make you happy, they're supposed to make you money," and
Right.
I've always been like,
Mm.
"Negative, like, I'm not doing anything for money that I would not do for free." Like, it's just not I'm not about it. Um And he's just like our relationship has evolved into something so beautiful,
Mhm.
and he, like, really, really sees me, and he really supports me, and he's always loved me, like, he's always loved all of his kids so much, that's never been a doubt in my mind. It feels so good to be, like, supported by him, though, and celebrated, like, he legit thinks what I do is cool, and I'm like,
I
"Yes,"
can
like, he's
tell.
come to our events, and he's like, "What?" Like, and then, like, that feels good,
I can tell.
and
He's
then
enthusiastic about it for sure.
yeah, he is, he's intrigued, he's very open to learning, whereas before he was kinda just like also, I was younger too, so
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not a kid anymore.
Mhm.
But obviously when you're a kid, you don't feel like you're a kid. You're like, "I know, dad.
Right,
Like,
of
I
course, yeah.
meditated for 3 hours and this is what happened." And he's like, that's weird. You took a nap. Like, he's like, "What?" You
Right.
know? And now he's like, "Wow, that's cool. Like, I'm gonna try that." He actually just the last time we saw him, he I had just got new crystal singing bowls in the mail, and he's, like, watching us open them, and they had, like, the little information card, and he's like, "Ooh, I think I'm gonna buy a bowl. I think I'm gonna just have a little bowl to play at home." Like,
Oh,
"Yes,
that's
dad, that's
sweet.
so cool." So he's expanding and he's more open and it feels so good
Mm.
and it feels good to see him like really focus like on his happiness and on his like emotional and spiritual well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, and so you guys are going back to the Caribbean. What was the name of the island again?
Yeah, it's called Roatan. Yeah, and he's
Rotan.
from like a little I honestly don't know if they're called like towns or like villages. Like I don't know the term, but there's like different areas, you
Yeah.
know, because even like LA, you have like West LA and
Mhm.
like Hollywood, Beverly Hills. Um, so he's from like an area called Flowers Bay,
Flowers
and
Bay.
it's really tiny. I want to say it's like 2 miles long.
Mm.
Um, and literally like 80% of the people there are related to us, or maybe even like 90%. I don't know. I was like literally just talking to one of my cousins and she was like, "Yeah, this is your cousin." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Like,
Wow.
cool." So, um, yeah, I'm so excited.
And Matt's
It's
going?
Matt is going.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
snap.
excited. So I went in 2019. I went in summer 2019 and he was supposed to come. We literally went and like freaking got his expedited passport. And then he got a new job like
Mhm.
2 weeks before our trip and was like, "I'm not gonna ask them." And I was like, "What? Like, what?" I was super sad, but also everything happens for a
Yeah,
reason, and I had a beautiful time, and it was, like, the exact experience I feel like I needed, and now it's just, like, we have a baby now,
right.
so now we're going as a family, and it's gonna
Mm.
be, like
And she gets to meet the family. The family gets to meet
yeah.
her, and your dad's going back for the
My
first
dad's going back for the
time
first time. My grandpa also
since he was 18?
yeah, since he was 18, and my grandpa, my dad's dad, the last time he went to the island was, oh, I wanna say, like, 2010 or
Okay.
12. It's been a
Oh,
while,
wow.
and he actually got into a plane his plane crashed
Mm.
while he was landing on the island, and he, um, came home, but he's never been on a plane since then.
I
And
don't blame him.
he's going, which is like
Okay.
a huge deal. And, you know, the island is just like when I went, they celebrated me just because I was my dad's daughter.
Mm.
So like my dad being there and then his dad
Going
being
back?
there.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh my God, people are so excited.
And
Like
you're gonna be
literally it's gonna
there?
be a whole ass party, like a whole celebration. It's gonna be
It's 4
so good.
generations.
Yeah.
4 generations are gonna show up.
Yeah.
All of them showing up like, "Yo,
Yeah,
we
and
here."
there's a lot of us. Yeah, there's, like I think in total there's, like, 40 of us going out there right now, like
Really?
yeah.
From all different spots?
Yeah, like, my dad and all of his siblings are gonna be there, and then all of their kids, and then those of us that have kids are
Yeah.
bringing our kids, and then we have some, like, really close friends of ours, like, my best friend's coming,
Aw.
my uncle and his wife, like, their really close friends are coming, so it's gonna be, like, a really good group.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, okay, so tell me a little bit more about the island, though, like, what's going on over there?
Oh, so the island is actually, like, the top coral reef, like, most beautiful coral reef in the world. I think, like, Australia is number 1, and then it's right after that, so it's, a really popular destination for, like scuba divers and snorkeling people. And then they also have like cruise ships that dock there.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like if you like go on like a 10-day Caribbean cruise, like
That's one of the
that's one of the
stops.
places that you'll
Mm.
usually stop. So um I don't want to say unfortunately because it's cool for what it is. But it definitely has a lot of tourism
Right.
attractions, like, a lot they gear a lot of the energy there into tourism because they make so much money
It
off of
brings in money,
tourism.
right?
So, there's like beautiful resort beaches there. It's just it's gorgeous. It's like a very um yeah, it's just an island in the Caribbean, so it's exactly what you would imagine when you're thinking
Yeah.
of an island in the Caribbean, like beautiful crystal clear
Mhm.
waters, like warm waters, white sand
Oh.
beaches, and then there's also like the more like jungly side that you could go to and go to like the mangroves they call them. So it's just like
Mm.
beautiful like trees, like bamboo forest type of thing. You could like take a little boat, like a little motor boat through.
It
And then
sounds
there's
like
like
a hidden gem.
it's definitely a hidden gem, 100%. And then there's the side that my family's from, which is like the more rural side, and it's very like no screens on the windows, no central air, or like
Dirt
Wi-Fi is
roads?
a rarity, dirt roads, yeah. Lots there's only one road, and there's one main road in the whole island, so you can take it from the top of the island to the
No
both tips.
way, that's crazy.
There's one road,
Mm.
one main
One
road,
main road,
and
yeah.
then all of the other roads are like dirt roads, yeah. So it's cool. Dr. Sebi's from there.
Oh, I
So
didn't know
they've got
that.
yeah, so they've
Mm.
got some like Dr. Sebi, like herb shops there. And then on the mainland, which is like a 30-minute boat ride, there's a Dr. Sebi's Healing Village is there, which is like this beautiful village where people will go and they'll spend
Mm.
like 2 weeks there and they heal from like chronic illnesses that in the Western, like a doctor will tell you, like, you can't heal from this or you have to be on medication for the rest of your life. Or like cancer patients will go there instead of doing chemo. And they have like natural springs there with very like highly alkaline water,
Mm.
and they'll have people like drink this water for like the whole 2 weeks that they're there, and just like they have different healing treatments that go on there. So that's really cool. That's I would like to go there. I
Yeah.
haven't solidified anything yet,
Alright.
but I'm hoping to take a little boat and
That would be cool.
go experience the healing village there. Yeah.
Mm. Awesome, and you mentioned spring water, and I know you're involved with water out here. Um, Living water?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
up
you
with
can call it
that?
living water. Yeah, so I drink Kangen water, which is
Mm.
it's a company, it's a machine, it's a water that is filtered through a machine, and it's an ionization machine. So it charges the water with electricity. It has like a stack of plates and the water runs through the plates, and as it hits each plate it's like pretty much being like charged up. Um and the it splits the cells of the water, and the water that you drink is charged. It's living water. So what that means is like it has an actual like um it has a it has a vibration to it. Like most water that we drink is just stagnant. It's like it's not moving. It's not really able to be absorbed in our body. It also mostly has like most likely has like added chemicals or whatever the heck they're putting in
Toxins,
water these
right.
days. Yeah.
Adding chemicals, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and, aluminum or something like that?
Aluminum, fluoride,
Mm.
chlorine,
Uh,
there
I meant
aspartame.
I meant fluoride, not aluminum.
Yeah, but there is aluminum too. It's crazy. There's so much. There's so much. So we have a pre-filter, so we like clean the water because it's you hook it up to your kitchen sink, or some
Mm.
people hook it up to their bathroom. So we clean the water first because we live in the city, so the water is just like so toxic. So we clean the water, and then the clean fresh water goes through the machine. It's charged up. The machine's amazing. Like it's not just doesn't just make drinking water, it also makes like water you can clean your whole house with, water you could clean your vegetables with, water you can spray on your face and your hair to just make it more hydrated. And um yeah,
How'd you get
it's
involved
amazing.
with that?
I got involved with it because I was already drinking like clean spring water. And then um one of my best friends, who like wasn't really my best friend yet, she was setting up booths at our events, and I had reached out to her to collaborate with her for a women's circle.
Okay.
And she was like, "How's your finances? Like, what do you do for money? Like, I just want to tell you, like, we've been setting up at your events and we've been selling a lot of machines, and like you could be a part of this." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like I knew about it. I was drinking it.
Right.
I wasn't really interested in the business because I was, like, already doing so much, for the community. I had so many offerings already. But when she was sharing it with me, I was like, "Wow, that sounds really good. Like, I really like the sound of that. That's cool." And she was like, "Yeah, like, literally, we already are at your events. Like, you don't even have to do anything. Like, we're already there. We'll just, like, give you the credit whenever we meet people through your community."
Mm.
I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And then once I got in it, I just was, like, so passionate about it because it's so amazing, and I just, like, naturally, organically just started sharing with the people around me, like, "Try this water, see how
Yeah.
it feels," because there's so many people, so I don't have, like, a crazy, like, illness or ailment that I could benefit from by drinking the water, although there's so many people around me that do.
Mm.
And I was hearing these stories and testimonies of people that had, like, arthritis, and they started drinking the water and their arthritis went away, or people had allergies or acne or cancer, like, these crazy things, and they started drinking the water, and their body was able to heal what was coming up because they were properly hydrated. And so I started sharing it with people that I knew that was like, "Oh, your grandpa's dying of cancer, like, he just got told he has 4 days to live. Give him this water." And then they would drink the water. All of a sudden, her grandpa doesn't have cancer a month later, so I'm like, "Whoa, no way." Like, believed it because I had heard these stories already, but being able to, like, really experience it and be a
Mm.
part of that was, like, amazing to me, like, still blows my mind when I think about it.
Yeah. Sounds mind blowing.
Yeah, so amazing, so amazing, and so, yeah, so I share it because I think it's such a huge part, like, well, the element of water has always been such a huge part of my work. In the women's circles, in the womb work, like, I'm always singing to the water, I'm bringing water into the space as just, like, an energetic, transmuter of energy, and, yeah, I've just always been so connected to water and loved water, and I'm a water sign, like, all the things, and so, like, literally being physically connected to actual water that we drink and that we bathe with, it just made so much sense. 'Cause I
Mm.
was, like, literally praying to water all the time, having other women pray to water and sing to water, and then it's like, here's this water business that comes into my life that's, like,
Yeah.
literally, like, share this water, it will change your life,
And I've
and
seen a
it'll
little bit
change
of it.
everyone's life.
Like I've seen a little bit of the company, and like it seems like there's a lot of support and a lot of like entrepreneurship, and I mean that's important.
Yeah, I believe it's the way of the future. I really do. Only 1% of people know about this. And it's like predicted that 100% of people are going to know about it within the next 10 years. Like, we'll see how that plays out and how that manifests. But it's definitely like how you were saying the island sounds like a hidden gem. Like, this is a hidden gem.
Mm.
There's like tons of people that like know what's up, like elite people, athletes, like professional athletes, actors, singers, that, like, they know what's up, and, like, you'll see, like, they're obviously, like, they're already in their profession, so they're not out, like, selling these machines or
Right.
marketing for the company, but, like, they have them in their home, and
Mm.
they're drinking that water. So it's, like, definitely coming to that point, like, we're getting to that point where people are opening up more. I think that too, like, in America, in the States, we have a lot of, like, sales trauma. Like, there's been so many, like, multi-level marketing companies that are just, like, shady
Like
and, like,
pyramid schemes.
pyramid schemes. Yeah, like, everyone loves to throw that word is it a pyramid scheme? It's not a pyramid scheme. Like, it's really not, and, so I think there's, too, that aspect of just, like, holding space for the collective to, like, learn to trust again, and I think it's, like, the company, they call it network marketing. So instead of investing into advertisements, like, you're never gonna see a billboard with, like, Enagic, which is the name of the company that makes this water. Like, they don't believe in that type of advertisement. They believe in network marketing, and to me, that's, like, so beautiful because you're literally sharing with people that you trust and that trust you, and it's like, why are you gonna try to why are you gonna try to play your mom, or why are you gonna try to play your best friend? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and that's why, like, for me, it was so easy for me to be like, yeah, because it was literally this woman that was in my life that I was like bonding with and connecting with, and now she's literally my daughter's godmother, you know? And it's like, why is she gonna lie to me? Why is she gonna manipulate
Right.
me? You know, like, and not only that, like, she's literally drinking this water every day. Why would she be drinking this water every day if it's only about the money, or if it's not really what she's saying it is? So it just like made sense to me, and I've been blessed to magnetize and connect with people where it's like they trust me. It makes sense to them. And I always tell people to like just drink the water, you know? Like,
Yeah.
was it on camera when you drank the water? Cuz you drank the
uh,
water and you tasted it.
and what was my feedback? It felt,
You said it was clear and soft.
yeah, it feels soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels different.
Which is such a beautiful way to describe water, cuz like we really don't need to be drinking hard water.
Mm.
Like,
And that approach of what did you call it?
network marketing. Yeah,
Network
that's the
marketing. It
term.
feels just, I don't know too much about it, but just based on what you're saying, it feels more organic and community oriented, which is what you are already
Yeah, I
doing.
really felt like it just like is such a beautiful addition to our life, and like it definitely has supported me. Like, I feel like with this company, like, cuz it does have a really amazing compensation plan, like the business aspect of it is like amazing. Like, it's really lucrative,
Yeah.
and you just like you get what you give to it. So if you're putting the energy in, you're going to get that back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that you guys love these blue
Yeah,
bottles
we do.
and taking them to the airport and having those fun conversations with the
Oh, yeah.
TSA.
I love it. I don't love it, but I'm here for it, you know? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm all about advocating for our rights. Like,
And what's that experience been like? Because I feel like I've seen you and your friend mention that before. And I'm always like, well, what's going on? Like, what's the deal? Like, why are they giving you guys a
okay,
hard?
so technically you're like not supposed to bring like water on planes. There's like a certain ounce that you can bring on a plane. Um, which is like silly, because you're like literally in a freaking floating box. Everybody should be able to hydrate themselves while they're flying.
Right.
But because this is a medical grade device, we're able to take it on planes because it's
Mm.
literally like a prescription. It's a medical grade device.
All right, and then you're talking
And
about the
the water,
the water itself,
the water itself, not necessarily the blue bottle. I
not
mean, the blue
necessarily.
bottle you can take it empty, like they
Yeah.
can't say anything to you. But the water inside the bottle, which like you don't have to take it in the blue bottle. A lot of people will take it in like a gallon container just so they have like more water
Right.
with them for their trip.
But I mean, it's cool to take it in the blue bottle.
It is cool to take it in the blue bottle. I love the blue bottle. I really like don't like I use my blue bottle at home
Yeah.
throughout the day. Like, I only drink out of the blue
Yeah.
bottle. Um
And you gifted us one. Kai picked
yeah.
the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Yin yang. Yeah, she's so into that.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's been interesting. Like, for the most part, I don't have issues. Um, what they'll do, it's just like the same routine every time. They're like, you can't take this on the plane. And I'm like, yeah, actually I can. Like, this is medical grade water. I'm allowed to travel with it. Um, I used to tell them that I had certificates, although I just learned that like legally they can't ask you to see any information. So
Okay.
I'm gonna stop doing that.
But if you wanted to, you
If
can
I wanted
flex.
to, I
You can
could.
flex and show them paperwork.
Yeah,
Okay.
but also the fact that legally they can't ask is pretty dope. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need to prove anything to you.
Right.
Like, you just gotta listen to me, you know? Um, and then they'll test the water and just make sure it's not like
Acid.
bomb liquids. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah, everyone's so afraid of terrorists.
I
Um,
mean, yeah.
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 So they test the water and make sure that it's just water, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
And for the most part, it's been easy breezy, beautiful. And
Yeah.
I've had one experience at the airport closest to my house in Long Beach where
Mm.
like this lady is just the last time I was there, the other employees, like, were telling me that she's just a negative Nancy type of vibe. She's the only person that's ever, like, just given me trouble and stuff, but it is what it is. Like, I'm always still able to take the water on, the plane with me. She just has a lot of pushback.
There's always
Yeah.
gonna be somebody.
Yeah, and then when I was in Mexico, actually, Mexico was also I need to learn Spanish, so I think if I knew Spanish, it would have went better, but I don't know enough Spanish, and it's Mexico,
Yeah.
you know?
Do you wanna learn Spanish?
I do, yeah, see.
You should. You
I
should.
do. I need to,
Uh,
necesita muy
aprender
I was gonna say muy practicar.
a practicar, sí.
Yeah, sí.
Necesitas practicar, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. You should. Like I benefit from it. Like obviously you see me. Obviously I know Spanish.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot of people like my age or even younger, like they're already forgetting Spanish. Spanish is getting left behind, which I believe is a mistake because I mean there's a lot of Spanish speakers here. Like I don't know the
Yeah.
statistics, but Spanish I think is the second most spoken
I think
language
here for
here in
sure, yeah.
California and
Well,
LA.
something interesting about me is both my parents are fluent in Spanish. My
Really
dad's first language was Spanish.
makes sense.
Yeah, the only reason
Honduras.
why my dad learned English is because his dad was an English teacher, so
Mhm.
they learned English, but where he's from, Spanish was, like, the main language, like, when they were colonized,
Okay.
Spanish was the main language that
But
they
what
used.
your mom? Yeah, yeah.
My mom's stepmom who raised her my mom's biological mom passed away when she was 4,
Oh,
and she was raised by this, like, beautiful El Salvadorian woman who's, like,
oh,
my little grandma Juanita,
interesting.
yeah.
Aw.
And my grandma, fluent in Spanish. My grandma didn't move to the States till she was, like, 23, and I believe that's when she learned
Yeah.
English, and so because Spanish was her first language, she had my mom and all the siblings watch, novelas, and that's how my mom learned Spanish, was through watching novelas, and, um, my
Of course.
parents used Spanish as a secret language, so they never taught us Spanish, but because I was a nosy little what do they call it? Chismosa?
Chismosa. Uh-huh.
I learned a little bit of Spanish by just trying to figure out what the hell my parents were talking about. So
Yeah.
I know a little bit of Spanish, and I've been, practicing more, and I just say, you know, like, I'll say what I know as much as I can, especially with Lilia, because she's learning language in
Mhm.
general, so I'm like, might as well teach her a little bit of
Yeah.
Spanish too, and, I have some friends that speak Arabic, so I'll tell them to speak Arabic to her, and then the people in our life that are fluent in Spanish, I try to make it a point to remember to ask them, "So speak Spanish to Lily when you see her,"
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
'cause I think it's so important, and especially, like, being a person that loves connecting with people and loves traveling, like, I love like, when I'm with there's a lot of migrant workers here. There's a lot of Spanish speaking workers that really we connect with, and they support our life so much,
Yeah.
and I love when I'm, like even if it's just, like, buying flowers on the side of the street and I speak Spanish, like, the way these beautiful women's face light up, and they're like, "Oh, habla español," I'm like, poquito," you know, but
Mhm.
it's, like, so cute, and I wanna be able to just, yeah, you can breathe, like, you don't have to try to speak English right now, like,
Right.
speak to me in your native language, and we can have a
I
conversation,
can
like, I
follow.
wanna be able to do that, and my grandma that's from El Salvador, she's always spoke Spanglish, and it's always been a thing, and she would literally get mad at us when we can't understand her,
Mm.
and as a kid, I'm like, "Well, grandma, like,
Yeah.
speak English," you
Right,
know?
right,
But
right.
now I'm older and she's older, and she's even more, like I know that my grandma's last days are gonna be full Spanish.
Mm.
I know that, like, she's gonna get to a point I can feel it, and, like, even my sister was just telling me she went to visit her, and my grandma spoke Spanish the entire time, and she was just, like, tired, and it's like, we don't really think about that when for these, like, people that English is their second language, like,
Yeah.
it takes
Effort,
effort and
mental
energy and, like,
energy.
brain like, their brain has to really work, and my
Yeah.
grandma's always spoke Spanglish, and it's just the cutest thing. She'll say, like, 2 words in English and then the rest in Spanish, and,
Yeah.
like, the more I understand, the faster she'll speak and the less English she'll speak, and then
Mhm.
eventually she'll lose me, and she's like, "Ay, mija."
I
Like,
mean,
I'm like, "I'm sorry.
but
Lo siento."
you you kinda have, like, a Spanish accent. Like,
I do
when
because
you
I've,
speak
been
Spanish.
around so many people that are fluent in Spanish, so when I speak Spanish, I do try my
Yeah.
best. I can't roll my R's, though. I can't. I'm not even gonna do it. I can't
Oh
do
my
it. It's
god.
like my niece is so good at it, and she
Mm.
always makes fun of me for not being able to roll my R's. I
I
don't know why I can't do it.
I don't it's muscle, I guess. I've
See, like, you're
definitely
so good at it.
I've definitely benefited from speaking Spanish, and, like,
Mhm.
okay, so, I mean, even though I grew up in a Spanish household, like, that doesn't mean I was gonna know how to speak it very well, or understanding it's easier, but
Mhm.
speaking it can be challenging, and writing it is a whole different level. And so I consciously studied it in high school for 2 years. Um, so obviously I had the already the advantage of growing up in a Spanish household. 2 years of Spanish, and then when I was working at the airport, I had to communicate with people from Peru, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Argentina, those countries through email. And I had
Mhm.
to write back in Spanish,
Wow.
which really put me to the test. And then also have phone conversations with these people. And each country has its own, even within the same country, each region has its own
Yeah.
way of
Mhm.
speaking, their own unique words, their own accents, and all that stuff. Like just like here, like
Mhm.
the Valley sounds different from LA, and LA sounds
Yeah.
different from Orange County. Like
Mhm.
simple as that. But anyway, yeah, like I've definitely benefited from a lot because now in the business I'm in, like I speak to a lot of people in Spanish, and um, I know it surprises people. When I'm speaking English, and then they're all of a sudden, do you speak Spanish? And like right away, I switch over to Spanish. But you're absolutely right. People that have a hard time speaking English that are Spanish speakers definitely light up. Their character changes, and they become more at ease when you speak to them in Spanish. And I, when I was younger, I would do it on purpose. I mean, I still do it on purpose, but I would do it on purpose to like make them feel better.
Mhm.
And now that I've been doing it for a couple years, anytime I see a Spanish speaker, I turn to Spanish
Mhm.
only. And it just feels like they have a feeling of familiarity. Like they feel
Mhm.
like it's familiar. Like,
Yeah.
they don't have they don't have to struggle. They don't have to use the mental power. Like they can just flow in. Like I swear, when you said that lady's face lit up, that's my experience almost every day when I
Mhm.
speak to Spanish speakers in Spanish and just go with their flow. If they're in the register or if they're working, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
and I just speak to them in Spanish, like 100% of the time, they just chill. They're not so like
Mhm.
whatever they are, but yeah, there's definitely benefits to speaking Spanish. Just communication. And so many people speak Spanish out here that struggle with English.
Mhm.
I know my mom also does the whole Spanglish thing, but mostly she's a Spanish speaker.
Yeah. So does Kai know Spanish?
I know Spanish because of both of her grandmas.
Okay, good.
Um, she can't hang like speaking full conversation,
Mhm.
but she'll respond in Spanish to a lot of things, and she definitely understands it a lot.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm not 100% like pushing it at the moment because I know that I'm a pretty fluent Spanish speaker, which is a surprise to me because my brother isn't. My sisters are okay. Um, but I don't know. I just feel like it's important. And you're the third person within the last couple weeks that are like, I want to learn more Spanish. And I'm just like, yeah, learn more Spanish because I know the experience I've had. And
Mhm.
I can't imagine the experiences that I would be missing because I didn't know Spanish. And also
Mhm.
the job opportunities too. When I was at the airport and even now, like for me to be able to hang, I have to hang with people, especially when they have like thick accents or they speak very fast. Like that's not
Mhm.
even an issue for me. Like I can definitely.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about like we've mentioned Kai and Lily a little bit. How has that been for you? Like just jumping into like motherhood
Mm.
and parenting, and all that
I
good stuff,
feel
especially now that
like
she's like a year and a half. Like she's getting smarter. She's
yeah.
moving around
I feel
more.
like I was like born to be a mother.
Mm,
I love being a mom. I'm like such a nurturer and such
mm.
a natural caretaker. And I love having someone that I can just like smother with love. And it's like not overwhelming for them, you know, at
Mm.
least right now in her phase in her life.
Right.
I know that there's going to be so many changes. It's like the moment I feel like I've learned and mastered my child, she wakes up a completely different person and she's doing these new things and like saying these new things. And I'm like, okay, like this is our life. Like this is going to be our life probably forever.
It's a
Like
dance.
it is such a dance and it's such a beautiful dance. I'm like madly in love with my daughter. Like she is so amazing. I feel like she's literally me, but in like my purest, most innocent form. And then
Mm.
she's also like her own being. And then she's also like her dad.
Mhm.
And then she also has like aspects of her both of her grandmothers and her grandpa's. My dad swears they have the same ears. I'm like, okay, dad, sure you can take credit for her cute ears. Like, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I love motherhood. It's definitely challenging. I feel like I'm a completely different person. But I love it and I'm like also still me, you know? And I've definitely like let go of so much
Mhm.
and it feels so good. It feels so good. Like I've been right now my biggest struggle is letting go of like some like career. Like I've had so many like passion projects throughout my life. And I feel like right now, like the best thing for me is just to be really, really present with Lily and like my home. And that's been hard. It's been hard to let go of like, and I feel like it's temporary and I don't even have to fully let go. It's just what's best right now.
Right. That makes sense.
And that's been like, I'm so attached. Like I love, like I feel like my women's work was like my first baby.
Mm.
And then I had a real baby and I'm like, I just want to be with my baby.
Mhm.
And it
That's
feels
fair.
and it's
That's
so
totally fair.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like but it's like, fuck, dude, our society fucks with women's minds. Like the amount of shame that people think they're like caring about me and they're giving me good advice. And I'm like, how could you tell a mother this? And they're like, make sure you don't lose yourself in your daughter. Like, don't spend too much time with your daughter. And I'm like, what?
She's a
Like,
year and a half.
she's a
Like, what do
baby.
you guys think we were doing 100,
That's what it
150,
is,
200
you
years ago?
know?
Like, we were with our babies.
Yeah, we were with our babies and we were with each other and everyone's babies. And that's been a big thing for me this past year and like going through my postpartum experience. And I'm blessed to have so many beautiful women in my life that are also in their motherhood phase.
Mm.
And at the same time, I have a lot of women in my life that don't have babies, that have chosen consciously not to have babies. And relating to them has been a little bit of a struggle, and feeling like seen and supported by them has been a little bit of a struggle. And just learning like how do I communicate to women how to be supportive women, right? And like how to tap back into our old ways and how to care on my daughter like she's your daughter, because that's how humans are supposed to be. Like
Community.
in reality, like in the village, like everyone was your mom and every kid was your sister or brother
Mm.
and every man was your dad. And then if they were old enough, they were your grandma and grandpa.
Right.
And
Or
it's
an
like,
elder.
or
They were
your
looked, yeah,
elder. Yeah,
respected.
you know,
Yeah.
and like, and they cared on you and you respected them and you trusted them. And it's like, for me, like, I don't trust everyone with my baby. Like, I don't leave my baby with people. And it's
Mhm.
just like,
That's fair.
and it's like, fuck, like how my nervous system, right? Like we were talking about the nervous system, how much more calm and just like filled, like mom burnout was not, I don't believe that was a thing like
Mm,
200 years ago, or I don't know, however long. Like it,
right.
maybe it was, right? Like not to like romanticize and like glorify the ways that we used to be, our original ways, but I do feel like motherhood without the village is just it's such a joke. It's a scam, you know, and like the mom entrepreneur and like
Hustle
boss
mentality.
babe, you know, it's like I support it and I
Yes.
celebrate it,
Yes.
especially because there's so many women that really don't have that. They don't
Right.
have a choice. Like I feel so blessed to have a man in my life that is
Mm,
like, yeah, stay home, like take
mm.
care on our baby and like what do you guys need, and like I'm gonna pay the bills, and
Attentive
that's like
provider.
a blessing.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like not saying that like we're perfect and everything's perfect and we have everything that we maybe desire right now, but we have more than enough. We have more than what we need. And we're really happy, and even better than us being happy, our daughter is so happy. Like literally this is Lily's world.
Mm,
And it's just like I love it. If there's anything I can change, it would just be, which is like I feel that I'm doing my best to change it. It's just calling in more support from other moms, getting our babies together, cuz I also like I'm not really trying to put Lily in
mm.
school, but I want her to be around
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
and I
Of
want her
course.
to be able to learn from the elders that are around her. And um, yeah, but I love being a mom. Like, I
Mm.
literally am like, it's only been a year and a half, and I just cannot remember life without Lily,
Oh,
and I,
that's
like,
sweet.
don't even wanna picture life without her, and I, like, literally prepare myself all the time for, like, when she's older
Oh my
and she's like,
God.
"Mom,
Stop it.
I wanna go study abroad." And I'm just probably gonna be like, "Where are we going?" You
That's so
know?
far
Like,
away.
I
You're
I
so
know it's
far.
so far away, but it's also not, because
Yeah.
time
It's gonna flash. Yeah.
flies, you know? And, like,
Especially if
I
you're not
love,
present.
yeah, especially if you're not present, and it's just like, wow, like, I just am so in love with her, like, she's
Mm.
so amazing, and I know that, like, we're gonna have, like I was saying, like, we're gonna have so many different phases and stages, and
Those teenage years are
oh
gonna
my goodness,
come
I was so with my
through.
friend who has teenage daughters, and, like,
Woo.
oh, I was like, "Matt," I was like, "Matt, can you believe that there's gonna be a day where, like, Lily's just gonna be, like, in her room and not wanting to talk to us all day?" Like,
Yeah, we
and she's
gotta.
honestly, Lily's very independent. Like, sometimes we'll be chilling in the living room, and she'll just, like, waddle on over to our bedroom and just be chilling in the bedroom by
Oh
herself,
my
and I'm like,
God.
"No way." Like,
That's so funny.
yeah, but she's taught me so much,
Mhm.
and she's opened me up so much, and I had a really beautiful, like, birthing and postpartum experience, and I did, like, a 40-day cuarentena after birthing her, and I had women in our community, like, come to take care on me, and that was my first time. I've always been, like, the mom of my friend group, always take care of everyone, and I have, like, a very affectionate family, so I know what it feels like to be taken care of, because I have older sisters, you know, they love me, like, my mom literally massaged me to bed every night, but to be my friends, to allow, like, women that I've known for less than 5, 10 years, literally, like, line up to just take care on me and, like,
Mm.
cook for me and rub my feet.
Intimate moments.
It was so special,
Yep.
and it just taught me, like, you are so safe to ask for help, because I'm really not that, like, I'll ask, like, there's probably 3 people in my life that I before this have felt comfortable, like, "Hey, like, I'm going through this, I need help, like, let me borrow whatever," like, whatever it is, but that just showed me, like, wow, people see me,
Mm.
people value me, people want me to feel taken care of, and that was just, like, it was so healing for me, and then being able to just, like, be super present with my body. I've broken, like, a wrist when I was 6 years old, and I fell asleep, I have no memory of it. Never experienced, like, pain, never had a surgery, and so, like, to be present with, like, my body going through labor at home, like, all
Mm.
natural, no medication, like, That was a lot to heal from.
And also having the opportunity to slowly recuperate
Yeah, it was so good,
and
and
not the stress of like what you were saying, like, "Oh, I gotta get back to work and I
yeah.
only have this
No, there's
amount of
no
time
6-week
off,"
leave,
right?
like, there's nothing,
6
It's a
weeks?
joke. It's a
What
joke.
the
Honestly, I couldn't even sit on my fucking butt and meditate for 6 weeks. Like, to think that that some people have to go back to work
Yeah.
and leave their baby when literally, like, your body is, like, they're inside of us for 9 months, and to think of leaving them after 6 weeks, even if it's just for a few hours, like 8 hours, however long a workday is like it's just crazy to me. It's, like, so desensitized. It's so
Yeah, for sure.
desensitized, and we just, so many people are just forced to do it, like, they really don't have a choice, and I've grown to have so much compassion for mothers, especially working moms,
Mhm.
especially moms that don't have a choice, like, they really are doing like, in order for their children to have a home and food and
Mhm.
clothes and fun and extra God forbid, they get to have extracurricular activities, like, they have to go to work.
Yeah.
They have to leave their kids, and I think there's a certain point, even right now, I was telling you when we were preparing for this, like, even leaving Lily for just a few hours for me right now, and she's already a year and a half, was, like, a lot for my nervous
Yeah.
system, a lot for, like, just me, and that's just, like, me and my relationship with her, and I think that there's a certain point where it's, like, it starts to feel better, I feel more comfortable
Yeah.
allowing her to have those spaces away from me,
Mhm.
but, yeah, it's just it's, like, wild to me that this
Yeah.
is, like there's a point where, like, new parent I feel like parenthood is just such an initiation for a couple, and there was, like, moments of me and Matt, like, questioning not Matt, me questioning, like, "Are we gonna keep going?" And the thought of, like, sharing my baby with someone and, like, having to, like, not like I was like, "Lily's never not sleeping with me," like, that's not an option, just that thought of, like it's just
Yeah.
wild to me, like, the way that some systems are just set up right now for us in,
Mhm.
like, the modern world and just how far away it is from, like, our natural ways of being. It's just, like yeah,
I
it
must say
definitely
that,
uproars me.
um, yes, I do remember when you mentioned your concern of being away for so long from her, to be here tonight, and so, like, honestly, I'm very grateful that you did take the time and were brave enough to, I don't know, I guess, jump into the next milestone even though you weren't even sure that that was coming, and then I came
Mhm.
and said, "Hey, let's talk." So
Mhm.
thank you so much for,
Yeah.
doing that, and, you're such a beautiful soul, and I feel like I know I've told you this in private, but like I've prayed for you to come through, and find Matt. And so like I'm very happy for that as well. It's such a sweet, sweet thing. And thank you for just doing all the things that you do, really. Like just walking me through your journey and all the things you've experienced and all the things that you will continue to experience and continue to do. And I'm so grateful that you guys do have a community that you do have and they care for you so much. What a manifestation in this lifetime to have that. What a
Yeah.
blessing. You guys are very blessed. And I just wish both of you the best, obviously. And I always root for you guys no matter what you guys are doing, whatever you guys are creating. And you guys do have such a beautiful, smart little child. And I'm excited for her to start talking and making up stuff, making up stories and playing pretend and just, those sweet moments with her that I'm excited for you guys because I know of what I have experienced with my daughter and, just sitting with them and just playing and pretending and, like you're not even there yet. The next year or two, your child self is growing too as well,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, it's
And you're
wild.
gonna be able to
Yeah.
experience that. I'm so, so excited for you guys. Is there anything else that you would like to share so we can pretty much wrap up?
I feel good. I mean, I feel very grateful that you called me into this space just to share and also just to listen to you and hear like your your process and the little nuggets that you shared throughout the way. This is a super amazing experience. I'm super grateful for it. Um, yeah, I'm excited.
Any words of affirmation, any positive words that you want to put out there for just anybody that might be tuned in still this 2 hours and 20 minutes in?
Mm. How did you say 2 hours and 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. All right, we out here.
Yeah, let's throw a gem for the ones that are still here.
All right. My gem is to just allow yourself to remember that you are love, that you have the ability to spread and share love in every moment, in every way.
Mm. And so it is.
And so it is.
Oh,
Ashe.
thank you so much. You
Yeah.
are awesome.
Yay.
Peace.
Charlie says, clap your hands. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie likes the beat. Move your feet. Charlie likes the beat. Move your feet. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie likes the beat. Move your feet. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie likes the beat. Charlie says,